she's lighting up the room and I'm singing with the wedding band. Yeah, she's lighting up the room and I'm singing with the wedding band.
You're on now.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Pearl toku ingoa. I'm joined tonight with my host, Jogai no mai, haere mai.
Welcome to the 95 BFM election night special. We know that elections can be stressful, so it's probably best you spend it in the company of people you trust. Us.
Tonight, Jogai and I will be providing you with not just mediocre piss takes, but also mediocre insights. Throughout the night, we'll be joined by our wire hosts, an array of BFM peeps, commentators, and more.
We'll have all your favourite election moments from the past 6 months in a segment we like to call What the Fuck? As well as opinions, games, quizzes, lukewarm takes, and most importantly, the results. Just to note, the Electoral Commission has said targets for release of the preliminary election results are by 8:30 p.m, all advance vote results, by 10 p.m, results from 50% of voting places, and by 11:30 p.m, results from 100% of voting places. But this is in no way certain, so sit tight and enjoy the ride.
If you want to engage with us tonight on the interwebs, you can reach us on Twitter at 95BFM News through the hashtags Decision17 and hashtag Election2017. Sorry, that was actually Decision 2017. We're also on Instagram at 95BFM and on Facebook at 95BF at facebook.com/95BFM.
All right, Pearl, let's kick things off. Yeah, loosen up a bit, it's fine.
It's all right, we're here, we're here together.
It's fine, it's going to be great. What are your predictions for tonight? Your dream scenario, disaster scenario?
My predictions tonight, I'm kind of following what I saw Tim Murphy from Newsroom
So
say
not really your
tonight.
prediction
Well,
then,
I kind of stole it from Tim, but you know, we all love to
That's
share
fine,
here.
Yeah.
My prediction is that we probably are not going to see a formal result tonight, that there's going to be a bit of negotiating going on between the parties, but I also think that maybe we will be saying goodbye to United Future and the ACT Party. You, yourself?
Well, first, what do you feel about the premise of a hung parliament?
That scares the shit out of me, if I'm honest.
Okay, well,
if we end up having a hung parliament and have to do another election in November, I'm not going to be a happy gal.
Yeah, I personally think it's a little bit too close to tell neck and neck, so my dream scenario is that it's like Jacinda Marama Davidson, if she obviously is going to be co-leader, which fucking hope so, and Marama Fox form a progressive government. So that's
just
what
like
I've got.
a strong girl power government.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah,
When you say that kind of shit, it like makes it annoying.
I don't have to drop the girl bomb.
Hashtag girl boss. But that's fine.
We're hopefully going to be joined now by 4 of our wire hosts, if they are just ready to come on and join us on stage. They're going to be sitting next to Baby of the House. Aww. You might see this prop we have here. This is Todd Barclay. Can I say disgraced National MP? Yeah. I'm going to say it.
Yeah, Mac thinks it's just straight up defamation, but I think it's kind of cute.
Baby of the House, of course, as you would know, is the youngest person in Parliament.
Yeah.
So we've dressed up Todd Barclay in a nappy, and he's just going to sit here with us tonight.
Adorable.
I don't know. Hi everyone.
Hey guys. A bit tight, a bit cozy.
Do you want to, yeah, we good? Yeah, we got you guys. So we're joined now by 4 of our wire hosts. We have India, Joel, Harry and Kelly. Welcome everybody. So over the past 5 weeks, our wire teams have been focusing on a different election issue every week, from education and justice, transport and the environment. The latter we will be discussing now.
Okay.
Environment. We're discussing environment.
Yeah,
sorry, did I not make that clear?
Yeah. So anyway, first little blunder, it's fine. So what were the biggest takeaways from your coverage of environmental issues? I guess we will start with Harry.
Myself.
Yeah,
okay.
And so you spoke to Kelvin Davis most weeks.
Yes, I've been speaking with Kelvin for the past sort of 5 weeks. Basically, I mean, Jacinda has declared climate change as the nuclear-free moment of this generation. There's been a lot of discussion about whether or not how seriously the Labour Party have actually been taking that, because they don't have a lot. I mean, the climate change policy hasn't really been the forefront of the election when people expected it to be. But so basically, Labour's policy in terms of climate change is to set a target of net zero for greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, with legally blinding emission reduction targets and carbon budgets to keep New Zealand on track to this goal. The Labour Party want to restore the emissions trading scheme, and bring agriculture into it, and by the end of the first term have 90% emissions free.
Right.
So when I spoke with Calvin, where have we got it? I sort of tried to just get like a little bit from him about what the policy was going to be. He came back to me and said that there wasn't a lot that they had discussed yet and that they had announced yet in terms of the reductions and the emission scheme, but he did have a lot to say about the water policy. So Labour want to clean up the rivers, make them swimmable within this generation. So what they've got planned to do that is to fence off all farms within the next 5 years and get people who aren't working into those jobs to get that going. They also want to get a royalty for bottled water, so 10 cents a litre, and so that's for bottled water, and then for horticultural and agricultural water use, a couple of cents per 1,000 litres. Now, there was a lot of sort of scaremongering from the National Party. Well, this is what Labour have said. So there's been a lot of scaremongering in terms of the water tax, basically, saying that the farmers are going to be, a little bit concerned that this is going to get quite expensive for them. It's going to potentially rise food prices.
I mean, that's what all the protests sort of were about in Jacinda's hometown, right? And you had that charmer of a sign.
Fantastic sign.
What is it? She's a pretty communist. And I think the best part about that was that he wrote down the bottom, authorised by me in capitals. Very, very.
Just by the way, keep the mic a little bit closer to your mouth so we can hear you well. Thanks, Harry.
I asked Calvin about it. I was like, the concern for farmers is real. I mean, there's potential there that it's going to hinder efforts already being made in areas of conservation. He responded to me, he said, no, it's not going to hinder anything. We expect to make a revenue of $100 million to go to local government to clean up the waterways. He was just really, it's not going to hinder anything. But I think there is a debate to be had in that. I think the farmers are concerned, but the general New Zealand public have actually been very supportive of the water tax.
Definitely.
I think it's definitely a good way to get some more money.
I kind of have a question about, obviously Labour have the MOU with the Greens, and so, do you feel like they're kind of treading into Green territory when they're talking about climate change and saying it's our big nuclear-free moment?
There was definitely a little bit of tension there. So the Green staffer, Deborah Morris-Travers, tweeted that there could have been some collaboration that saw Greens announce climate policy and Labour welcome it, instead of try to beat it with a half-assed version. Neil Jones, Labour's Chief of Staff, replied to that saying, Deborah, there was no rush job. I told Greens personally well in advance of our policy plans, as I always told you, the only change was venue. So these guys are basically having a bit of a tiff about not working together. So the Greens thought that Labour was coming out. This was when they were announcing their policy. So the Greens thought that Labour was coming out sort of trying to jump the gun on it, and Greens were like, well, we've got an MOU, like we're supposed to be working together on this.
Trouble in paradise, you reckon?
But the thing with the MOU, well, yeah, absolutely. The thing with the MOU at the moment is that the only signature that's still on it is James Shaw's, because it was Matiria. It was Andrew, and it was Annette King. And so a lot of people are saying now that, where is it? Where are we? I can't find my notes, but basically the note was that, is the MOU still even relevant? Is it just now that Labour are going to be calling Greens first, or are they actually going to be working together?
Well, because Joel, you spoke to the Greens during this election cycle. So what do you sort of think about their environmental policy? Did they really talk about Labour's sort of stealing?
One of the things that James Shaw really took ownership of is pulling Labour to the left. Yeah, when I talked to him sort of in almost every policy, but in particular about environmental policy, he was sort of I don't think that Labour would be as sort of stern as they are on their sort of environmental ideas without us being a constant pressure in government and constantly putting up this sort of we need to protect the environment if we want to be a good country sort of thing.
And I just wanted to ask you, India, as well, because you kind of we kind of chucked India on the Tuesday Wire. We chucked her a second political interview for all of her shows. You had TOP, so you had the Opportunities Party. You had Jeff Simmons from the Opportunities Party as well. What was their sort of stance on climate change?
They take it very seriously. It's one of their top priorities, which was we use that as a pun, and we wanted to use it every week with every topic.
Oh my God.
Is the environment a top priority? And I used it in the first week.
Wait,
and
so
it was
every
like,
week
fuck
did
that.
they say that whatever was a top priority? Or was that?
No,
genuinely?
this was, that was me.
Sorry.
But anyway, yeah, so they said a lot of their policies are quite similar to the Greens.
Yeah.
And with climate change, it was they want to create an independent climate commission to create a plan, because they think, there's not enough of an actual kind of strategy at the moment, or it's got kind of more of an idea that's not probably going to work if we don't come up with a big plan. And in the meantime, start pushing up the price of carbon and reinvest that money. And kind of immediately so I spoke to Jeff Simmons, who's the deputy co-leader. He wants to insulate homes. He wants to insulate all homes and businesses to make them energy efficient, which he said will kind of help in the short term.
And obviously the other political party you were speaking to every week was the Māori Party. So what was sort of their stance on climate change and environmental
Fox
issues?
the person that you spoke to?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So sometimes I do it and sometimes Mac does it. Cause he
loves it.
They've got, a bit of a thing going.
Not in that way.
I don't want to like interrupt there.
This is like not the night to be saying that kind of shit, but go on, sorry.
But they have, so one of their policies is to create a climate refugee category, which is part of their partnership with the One Pacific Party. So that's quite an interesting policy that they have on that. To kind of bring over climate change refugees from the Pacific.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's sort of something that no other party has really, as far as I'm aware, has really been pushing for, those sort of, because I mean that is a massive issue. Climate change refugees are real. There are people in those islands that are just slowly getting their homes destroyed because of these rising sea levels. So I think actually that's probably one of the more impressive environmental policies that I've seen from the parties.
Party.
Yeah.
It's been surprising, really, how little climate change has been sort of focused on the solution.
Yeah.
I thought that it would be a lot more prevalent.
I know, I think it's definitely been one of those elections where we've had a lot of distractions, more of which we'll be talking about later tonight in our what the fuck moment. I just wanted to end to Kelly.
Yes.
You spoke to, every week you had Jamie Lee Ross from the National Party.
I did.
So what was their stance on environmental issues and climate change?
The week I spoke about environment, I actually had Andrew Bailey, who was co-chair of the Blue Greens Committee, which is quite a clever name, Blue Greens, because they really make it sound like they're into it. Because obviously National isn't known for being all about climate change.
Right.
So I think a lot of people were sort of very, pressing them for like, what are you going to do? What are we going to see National do? And obviously New Zealand First actually condemned them because they're saying, National's saying that if they're re-elected, they're going to continue with the emissions trading scheme, but they've like tinkered with it and changed it, so they sort of make it sound like it's going to be really great, but they've changed it so much that agriculture is completely void from that, and that's over 40% of all greenhouse gas emissions in New Zealand, so that's our biggest carbon emitter, and it's completely excluded from the emissions trading scheme. So
I mean, do you think that because, National has this stance where they're not going to do anything about agricultural pollution and climate change issues, and then Labour is so strong at that, do you think that's going to be creating a division with the voting?
I mean,
and with the results we could maybe see tonight?
I don't think it's that they're not doing anything, it's just that they're not doing things radically enough. And since, they've been in government, climate change has obviously become such a big issue, and I think it's because it's slowly getting worse and worse. And I don't think that's just down to the government, I think that's down to us as citizens. But I think there's been a bit of trust lost there in terms of people that are about the environment. It's not seeming to be their priority. Like they're saying they want to electrify rail, they're only electrifying a couple of rails. They want 1 in 3 cars in the government fleet to be electric by 2021. That's not enough.
Sorry, 1 in 20 cars?
1 in 3.
Okay, 1 in 3.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more impressive. I was like 1 in 3,
But in the government fleet, by 2021, like that's 3 years away.
Yeah.
4 even, and
how many cars are in the government fleet though? That's what I want to know.
A couple hundred.
Really?
So, like, what? We're going to have 100 cars electric. Awesome. Come on.
The problem is fixed.
Let's be ambitious. they've committed quite a lot of money to cleaning up lakes and rivers, and they're really commissioning councils to get behind making them swimmable, which is something good they're doing. But
Is this Nick Smith?
Pardon?
Is this Nick Smith that said this?
This is the honourable.
Oh, fantastic. That's what I like to hear.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's hard to know if they get re-elected whether or not some of the stuff will be priority or not.
Definitely. That's great. I think now we're going to be crossing over to Caitlin, who is at the Green Party's celebration in St Matthews in the city. Caitlin, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, yeah. Look
how you doing, Caitlin?
Oh, you look great. Oh, what a great background.
Yeah, I prepared it earlier. Lovely lighting. Is this our first technological win of the night? Have we just successfully done
this is our first successful Skype. I'm really
That's
proud
actually
of
a
all
lot
of us.
better than I expected it to go. You look really clear and great.
Thank you. I'm Alan.
Obviously, it's still pretty early in the night. We're only at quarter past 7. How many people are there?
You guys there?
Pardon?
Sorry, hang on. I'm just going to do some real technological stuff and put my other sound in here.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Double the power.
That's super impressive. So Caitlin, obviously it's still early. Are many people there? What's the vibe like?
Yeah, there are quite a few people here. A few members I can see rolling around. A lot of media. But yeah, very much early on in the night, I think.
Seen any politicians around yet?
Just a couple.
Okay.
Couple.
No name drops. He's just teasing it. You're like, yeah, seen a couple.
I think lots of people are running around doing media crosses and dealing with various things, so they're not all kind of sitting down, waiting yet. So I think this event's build as we go on.
How's the general vibe though? I mean, do you think people are feeling positive at all, or is it how's everyone feeling?
I think it's still quite tense.
Yeah.
It's not really been enough votes counted to really make anybody feel or anything yet. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Well, great.
Right.
We'll be speaking to you soon. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thanks, Caitlin. See you later.
And thank you to our lovely Wire host. We'll be having you back very shortly, probably in the next, I want to say 20, 25 minutes or so, where we will be talking next about your education and justice coverage.
See you guys very soon.
Bye.
Thanks. What are we doing next, Pearl?
Well, we did tease this earlier on the night. We're going to talk about our big what the fuck moments of the election. One of them, and one of the ones that I was really, I guess this was sort of the one that I was interested in quite a lot, was the Opportunities Party's social media meltdowns. So apparently the only thing that Gareth Morgans hates more than cats is Duncan Grieve, or at least you'd think that the case of the tirade of the abuse the spin-off editor received from the Opportunities Party leader, with his press secretary also his press secretary Sean Plunkett from being called a cunt to being told to get fucked. Grieve really wore it. The notable recipients of the Opportunities Party's online meltdowns were NZ Herald columnist Lizzie Marvelly, who was hounded aggressively on Twitter in a string of tweets for interview requests after criticising the lipstick on a pig comments Morgan made about Labour leader Jacinda Ardern. Comments he refused to apologise for.
Yeah.
And then also attached to his electronic campaign billboards. Oh, Gareth. I guess that's what you can do when you've got electronic billboards, right? You can kind of sort of change them up with the vibe, with the energy at the time.
Yeah. Did you see that Gareth Morgan tweet recently, the one about shaking it off Taylor Swift?
Oh, I loved that.
That was
this guy,
that's what should have come out earlier.
If Gareth Morgan had been tweeting about how he just discovered Taylor Swift at the start of the election, maybe Top would be perhaps in a better position. I'm obviously going to have to eat my words if they get over 5% tonight, but we'll be fine.
There was also a response to that which was like, wait till he discovers Carly Rae Jepsen, which...
Well, I guess that's the thing, and I guess that's what I kind of want to bring up, was that, that's been a lot of criticism faced by the Opportunities Party is that, your policies, in a left sense, are good, and as they say, we're evidence-based policy, but I guess it's really a downfall, I think. Well, I think, it's half and half. It's, your policies, but also how do you conduct yourself as a politician? Yeah. And I think if you're sending a string of 20 tweets to a journalist... Yeah,
and singer-songwriter. Multi-hyphen creative genius, Lizzie Marvelly, don't.
It's really not going to do very good for you. But also I think what was interesting is that I noticed that a lot of people who I know who voted for TOP who don't have Twitter were just completely unaware of this behaviour.
Yeah.
You know, they heard about the lipstick on a pig comment, but they hadn't heard about, I mean,
ad break after this if you like.
old Duncan Grieve wearing it. I mean, she's got, this is so terrible of me, but I've got a picture here of the billboard, which is just quite horrendous.
Yeah, zoom on in if you can.
Am I at Ben? Which camera am I at?
Oh my god.
Ben, sorry, Ben. Yeah, look at this.
Oh.
Yeah, mate.
Fantastic.
All right, we're going to go to a short ad break now, and we'll be back with 2 more of our what the fuck moments.
Yeah, stay tuned.
95 BFM presents Feist, live at the Power Station, Saturday, November 25th.
How come you never go there? How come I'm so lonely?
Canada's wistful maven of pastoral pop is back after a 6-year hiatus with Pleasure, her most defiant and expansive album yet. And now she's bringing that stillness and intensity here, live to you. Don't miss Feist, live at the Power Station, Saturday, November 25th. Tickets on sale September 28th from Ticketmaster.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey lady, interested in some major deals on some Converse? Direct from the source.
They look floppy.
Lady, that's fashion forward.
Oh, you got them in an 8?
Oh, one size fits all. Lady, hey, where you going?
Don't fall for fakes. Support local and get quality at the Pat Menzies Converse sale. The biggest range of Converse in the city at their Queen Street store. Chucks from $70, classic chucks only $90. Pat Menzies Converse sale on now, only at the Canterbury Arcade store, 174 Queen Street, and online at patmenziesshoes.co.nz.
The beauty of the fleeting and the ephemeral is so 20th century. BFM's best shows, features, and interviews are now available as podcasts on RSS and Apple. Yours to cherish forever.
Welcome to 95 BFM Top 10. You're with Pearl.
Turn to the left.
On Land of the Good Groove. Got lined up 3 songs.
Welcome back, it's True Skull.
I don't know.
Well, you're kind of a mellow beginning to the journey.
Welcome to the Saturday 2 to 4. My name is Sarah. I will be.
Greetings and welcome. This is the Rhythm Selection, and it's just gone.
Never miss out again. Bcasts, available now on Apple Podcasts or RSS for whatever podcatcher you're into.
Kia ora, you're tuned into the 95 BFM election special, and going into our next what the fuck moment, Jacinda Mania. 2017 will be forever remembered as the year that Andrew Little gave it a go and then thought better of it. Andrew was going up against Bill English, who was almost as dry as him, and he might have had a chance. But finally he said yeah, nah, and Jacinda stood up. People lost their shit, whether it was because she was younger, a woman, or genuinely just better suited for the job. Who knows? The whole thing got dubbed Jacinda Mania, and people heard about it overseas. Labour was back after a 12-year slump in the polls. 12 years, Pearl. Pearl.
That's actually ages.
12
Do you know what? That is, it's almost half my life.
Fantastic. And the election just got interesting, but of course we can't have the announcement of a female contender for the position of Prime Minister without a little bit of sexism. Jacinda was quickly asked whether she had plans for kids, because this obviously affects the way she's going to run the country.
Damn, what a great
let me get through this.
Sorry.
The query was quickly shut down, and not before reminding us New Zealand, despite the first to give women the vote, is still kind of backwards in many ways. Pearl.
I was just going to say the thing I loved about the whole Jacinda Mania was how, I mean, that's the thing, right? This is the thing, right? When Kiwis, when we get like, you know, when New Zealand gets mentioned in a movie or a TV show, you're like,
yeah,
New Zealand, I know that place. And seeing Jacinda being put in the New York Times, the Guardian, and everyone just really losing their shit about it.
Always,
yeah. Wait, was she on John Oliver?
Oh, wasn't this moment mentioned on John Oliver? Okay, I don't know. He's obsessed with us, so we appear on that quite a lot.
And also, I think it's really interesting with the whole Jacinda Mania thing is, I did have something to say about this, if you just give me a second. That's right, I was pretty sceptical at first when she became the leader. I was like, whatever, who really cares? But then I sort of did remember that New Zealanders love personality politics, cough, John Key, cough. And obviously, undeniably, it paid off for them.
That's true, yeah.
In the long run. Our third for the night, what the fuck moment, which is actually Not that funny.
Not that funny. It does link into Jacinda a little bit.
It does. Because it seems to be that out of all the mistakes made in politics, if you're a Māori woman on the benefit, you without a doubt cop it worse. The Greens had been doing really well this election, a bunch of new and young faces, some pretty decent policies on the board, and a pretty steady advertising game. But add a young Matiria Tude to the mix and watch the language turn to absolute shit. The very mention of benefit fraud and green balloons blown without methane gas pop very, very loudly in middle New Zealand's hands. Never mind the fact that the welfare policy, which was rolled out the same time Matiria shared her story, is the only policy which radically changes the way WINZ operates as a system that is failing those that are forced to be a part of it. Look, she made a mistake and she owned up to it. She took the steps to make it right and not to be biased, but...
Yeah, I don't have anything funny to say.
Hashtag I am Matiria. No, neither do I. I think this was probably one of the more upsetting, like genuinely quite upsetting moments of this election. I think I generally try quite not to get so emotional about politics, but this one I think was one that was really affecting the way that, you know, and I think a lot of the criticism came from these media outlets who were really hounding, you know, this decision that Matiria made when she was a 25-year-old young mother on the benefit, just trying to you know get her kids to survive. I mean, yeah.
And that was the thing around the whole Matiria thing, is that it wasn't like the opposite. It wasn't anyone from National or anyone from the opposing parties. It was the media that kind of hounded her down. Which was
and I think it was I think it's really interesting when you look sort of further in the way that beneficiaries are treated in this country, and especially in the mainstream media, and how we represent them, and how, you know, their crimes or their, you know, I wouldn't even want to call them a crime. I want to call it something that they do to survive, is treated as so much worse than someone, you know, keeping their money on an offshore account, so they can avoid some tax. So yeah, that's that. I think we're going to have, I've got the polls up here in front of me, and I think we're going to have a bulletin very soon with Mac, if he can hear me.
Mackenzie Smith, if you just want to come out anytime.
It's calling Mac Smith.
Anytime at all.
We want an update on these polls. I mean, I could bring out my whiteboard. Is it too early?
No, I think it's fine.
I think it might be too early.
I think it's all right.
I've drawn my own results.
Okay.
They'll come out at some point later tonight.
That's fine.
We'll find them, but not right now, because I think it's a bit too early for that. Are we? 1 minute.
God
1 minute. Thank you. Well, we could just talk more about how upset Matiria made me.
Could probably talk. I mean, I think I'm just going to cry if we actually get into it a little bit too much. But I see Mac Smith is ready. Come on up, Mac Smith. Yay!
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So this is Mac Smith. Every half hour tonight we will be having a bulletin that will be providing you with the latest updates in the polls and any electorate seats that are won.
And that's all coming from our wonderful news team.
Yes.
Hard at work.
BFM News.
There we nice.
Get in there.
Perfectly timed sting. Yeah, so we haven't had a lot happening in the past half hour since obviously we've started, but we've got 10.5% of results counted so far, and so that puts National at 46.4%, Labour at 36.5%, New Zealand First at 7.1%, Green at 5.9%, and then the others kind of sharing about 4%. So, I mean, that's already looking pretty good for National, but political commentator Bryce Edwards, who's a regular on BFM, says it's already going to be what the polls have been showing, really, which is a kind of tight race between Labour and National. And so really there's going to be no upsets, he says, and nothing unpredictable.
So nothing unpredictable as in he doesn't think that Labour's going to surge in the polls, or nothing unpredictable as in it's going to be a bit of a tough fight out between the two?
What he does point out is that we have a lot of special votes this year. Remember, we had 1.2 million advance votes cast, and so
that's a lot.
We've heard the tales of Auckland Uni queues for
down the
for
block.
the advance voting. So maybe that's reflected in the advance voting that we've had. And Bryce says that it could hurt National potentially, but we're going to have to wait and see, because right now things are looking kind of pretty consistent.
All right. Well, is that all that's in
That's all we have.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have more at 8.
I think hopefully soon. No, we're not. We were going to be crossing over to the Connors at ACT Party. Thank you, Mac. We'll see you back again on the half hour. I think we were going to try across to the two Connors who are at ACT Party, but that is not happening. It is happening.
It is happening.
I'm trying to get a signal from Adam. It's happening.
Okay,
there we are.
Jokes.
Oh, there they are. Oh my God.
Put your balloon down. How are you going, Connor and Connor?
Well, the atmosphere here is still, people are still coming in. We're still waiting for David Seymour to turn up. We're seeing a lot of posters around the place saying that David Seymour is the right choice for Epsom. And media from, we've seen so far, Peter Williams is here, Chinese language media is here, and yeah, a lot of young libertarians coming out to support their candidate for Epsom.
Because where is this party happening at the moment?
Well, we're down at the Royal Yacht Squadron. I'd say the atmosphere's afloat.
Oh,
Political change down here.
Absolutely. And bear in mind, just remember that it's not a Royal Yacht Club. No. It's a squadron. Yeah. It's a squadron.
Can I
make
just
that
ask,
absolutely plain.
Can I just ask Connor Mercer, who gave you those balloons you're clutching onto so dear tightly?
There seems to be about a quarter.
How many do you have?
4 balloons. I've got a bunch here actually. I've been lucky enough. Actors putting on drinks and balloons for everyone tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's fantastic. You know, we're sitting here soaking in the David Seymour vibes.
Having an absolute wonderful time. I'd say just about no one in here's got a care in the world.
Absolutely.
Maybe they've got a care in the world because they know they're about to be completely obsolete.
Shit.
Can I just ask boys? Can I just ask boys that you not get too drunk before you have to go to your second party of the night, which is the national party? So can I just ask that we be safe and responsible, please?
Now, Pearl, I'm frankly taken aback that you would assume that we do something so irresponsible as professional broadcasters for 95 FM.
BFM has kindly offered to provide an Uber service for our travellers tonight, which we will be making good use of.
Are we paying for an Uber?
Whoa.
No one told me that. No one told me
that. The stream
Yeah, so anyway, moral of the story is still waiting for the Epsom results to come in and sightings of David Seymour and his hands.
Hoping to see more later.
When's David Seymour going to arrive?
Hey, you just missed Connor's great joke. Hashtag hoping to see more later.
Oh my God!
I've been saving that one up
Did he know he did that?
I think he did know he did that. I bet he wrote that like 6 hours ago and he's been saving it up in his jean pocket.
I've been working on it for a couple of weeks now.
Trying to get the puns in.
Well, I want to see less of this because we should cut the cross.
All right, cheers, lads. Thank you.
Thanks,
we'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Hey, we also just want to stop a moment and say thanks to Low Tech Media, PLS Lighting, and the Gear Room for making this stream possible.
Yes,
I think we want the Wire host back. If they can come back.
Yeah, come on up.
I'm also just going to do this DIY.
Alright, okay, just make sure Todd's the house is fine. Can I have him? Just like,
do you want to have him for a bit?
I do just want to take care of him a little bit.
I've actually put him in a cloth nappy tonight because it's just better for the environment.
It is, isn't it?
Would mean that you'd have to clean his shit out, but you know, that's fine. Hi. Hi, Harry. India.
Hello.
I'm just gonna say all your names as you walk on. Joel, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
You're joined
like your
back again. Of course they are. So the second week, you guys looked at education and justice. So we sort of lumped these two, not lumped, you know, we just put them in the same week. So I guess I'll start with you, Harry. What sort of specific aspects of education and justice did you concentrate on for your week?
We definitely focused more on education. Calvin actually wasn't available that week, so we didn't talk to him, but I did get to talk to Andrew Little when the fiscal plan was first
Was he all right?
Yeah, is he fine?
I don't know. This was before the big moment.
Yeah.
The big event. But
was it?
Yeah. But Labor have a very cool little education policy. So
right, tell me more about it.
The big ticket is tertiary.
Right.
So it's free tertiary education. So they're going to be increasing living costs with $50 a week boost to student allowances and $50 a week lift to maximum that can be borrowed for living costs. They're going to restore postgraduate students' eligibility for student allowances and accelerate the 3 years free policy. So that's going to be starting with 1 year free full-time equivalent for everyone starting tertiary education or training for the first time, and that's going to be from the 1st of January next year. So that, I think, is a pretty cool policy, to be fair.
I've just actually had Hugh Sunday in my ear, speaking of free things. Does anyone want to send us some pizza to 95 BFM when we're in the AUSA building?
We actually
I can't
haven't eaten
remember
for
our
hours.
address. I think it's 34 Princess Street, level 4. Anyone want to confirm that for me? I'm looking at my wire host. My investment of journey.
What?
Is it 3?
3, yeah.
We're in level 3 of the AUSA building, University of Auckland, 34 Princess Street. No dietary requirements.
I'm vegetarian.
I mean,
actually.
Joga's vegetarian.
I mean, none for Pearl, but
Who said you were doing a pizza, Kelly? Hey, I'm just taking my hard stance. So if you'd like to send us some pizza, would be much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I just, on that free
thanks,
things.
We all love free stuff. I mean, yeah, do you agree that, I think that's a cool policy.
What, the first year free tertiary education? I think it's great. I think also, well, because isn't it Labour, it's going to be so embarrassing if this is the Greens, but it is Labour who has the postgraduate student allowance as well.
Yep, so they're reintroducing that. Yeah. I talked to David Seymour 2 days ago, and he stood by his claims that it's an insidious policy. He believes...
So loaded.
Yeah, he believes...
Can you also just go into that a little bit, like to hear that?
Well, he just thinks that it's going to, by making university publicly funded, he thinks it's going to absolutely decrease the quality of it, but the thing is that it's not just about university, this policy.
No, of course
it's about
not.
tertiary education, so it's including apprenticeships and courses, which a lot
Polytechnics, etc. Yeah, of course. Well, thank you, Harry. India. So, let's talk about the Māori Party first. What were the sort of education justice areas that you focused on?
Yeah, so the Māori Party want to make Te Reo and New Zealand history compulsory in schools. Increase student benefits and write off student loans. And obviously they want to target Māori and Pacific communities to get more sort of into education as well. And in terms of prison, they want to stop the building of more prisons and expand Māori initiatives in prison systems. They have a focus on stopping institutional racism in the justice system.
Right.
Lower Māori over-imprisonment by 30% is their aim. And they're advocating for an inquiry into abuse in state care, which Nationals refuse to commit to.
Yeah, Nationals been refusing to. I mean, I think that's the thing that most parties are requesting, this abuse into this a review into the systematic historical abuse. I just go back to the education policies. I mean, I know you weren't speaking to Marama, it was Mac, but is there anything? Do they want to wipe all previous student debt, or?
I'm not 100%. Yeah, it was Mac that did that. That one that week.
We'll ask him when he comes back for the bulletin.
Yeah, ask him when he comes in. He can give you a rundown.
The Opportunities Party, though.
Yes.
Because I think I remember them having quite an interesting justice prisons policy.
Yes. Yeah. So they're pretty detailed on both of those areas. So they think, prison's not really a solution to any problem, and they really want to bring our prison population down and have a bigger focus on rehabilitation and invest, because they say prison is also really expensive, and if we spent that money on rehabilitation programs and treating drug and alcohol addiction, then that would have better outcomes for everyone. And because prison also has a really horrible impact on the families of prisoners, and means that the children of prisoners are more likely to go to prison. So they just kind of want to so it's sort of positive, not punitive, is their kind of phrase for that one.
Before we move on to Joel and Kelly, can we just go back to Harry, because you speak to Calvin Davis obviously now. Have you spoken to him about justice?
I have spoken to them a little bit about justice. Labor do have a policy with the police force in particular, so they want to increase the number of sworn police officers by 1,000 over the next 3 years. So Calvin's quote on the policing is that community policing, he wants to have more community policing, a presence in communities. Policing is more effective if police know the members of the community. He wants it to be a lot more sort of softer, less let's put people in prison as quickly as possible, more sort of discussion about what the issues are. The police can, if they find someone who's troubled on the street, they can say, we'll bring you home and we can have a little talk about it or whatever.
Right.
Just softer. That's Calvin's stance anyway. But yes, so Labor are going to increase the police officers, widen the police's abilities to take action against organised crime activities, and extend police safety orders to a maximum of 10 days unless a protection order is applied for.
Right. And so India TOP and their education starts?
Yeah, so they really want there to be, most of their policy is around early childhood education.
Right.
Because they think that our education system in general isn't really preparing people for like the quite flexible workforce that we have at the moment, and that needs to start in early childhood, and they want free early childhood education for everyone, which will help to kind of balance out the inequalities that start really early. And that's where you learn skills like creativity and communication, and they kind of want to focus on those softer skills.
Yeah.
And then later on, they really want there to be less admin and testing in schools.
Right.
And they think that instead of doing 3 levels of NCEA, for example, you should only pass one qualification. Like, you only need to leave high school with one qualification, instead of being tested and retested and kind of having, I think another MP kind of said there's too much of a focus on passing tests and you're not actually learning anything. They really aren't a fan of national standards, which was kind of interesting, because another week Marama Fox was talking about national standards, and she said that for Māori she sees that as Hekia Parata's focus on national standards as driving higher NCA pass rates for Māori. So, I guess if there's less testing, you can't pick up inequalities and where people aren't getting ahead earlier on. So I guess it's about balancing those things. But that was interesting to hear those.
I think we're just going to quickly pause here to try and cross to Lucy and Ruben, who are at the Labour Party right now. Can they hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Pearl.
Sweet. Hey. Do we have video?
Hey.
Oh, look at you! Oh, wow, look at the lights Labour has got going. Hey, Lucy, so how's the vibe there?
It's super excited. Every time somebody talks about Labour on the big screen up there, there's big cheers out here. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Are there? It looks probably like the busiest party we've crossed to so far. So the energy's good. Are there many of the politicians there yet? Is Jacinda there yet?
So no, Jacinda isn't here yet. She's due to come a bit later. But there are loads of Auckland politicians milling around. And yeah, it's really, really excited.
That's good. That's like the most positive cross we've had yet. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Lucy. We'll come back to you a bit more later in the night.
Okay, sweet. See you later, Paul.
See ya.
Cool. And we're just going to close off with, we have Joel and Kelly, and then we're going to close off with you guys. So quickly, we will get Joel's comments on education and justice.
Cool. So I spoke to the Green Party's education spokesperson, Catherine Delahunty, who particularly talked to me about national standards, because I spoke to her the day after National released their education policy, which was sort of about increasing testing, increasing data that's going to parents, and sort of like trying to really sort of almost robotize the way that education's done. And so she sort of believes that this is an incredibly like unfair and accurate way of measuring success, and that sort of like national standards are slowing down creativity, and they're sort of preventing communication between teachers and parents, because parents are sort of like just looking at the stats and being like, right, well, my kid's doing shit, or well, my kid's doing good, and like just leaving it there, when like they should be talking to teachers a lot more and sort of being like, what does my child need to succeed, rather than just sort of looking at the statistics. And we quickly talked about Te Reo Māori and sign language, which she believes should be definitely introduced in schools. Yeah, and so the Green Party believes they should be compulsory for students up to year 10, which would normalise and strengthen Te Reo in society over time. And she wants to offer sort of incentives and scholarships for people looking to become teachers in Te Reo, because yeah, obviously there could be understaffing.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, up to year 10. But Kelly, do you have any more information about national standards for national?
Yeah, let's talk to you about...
double mic.
Never mind.
Let's talk to you. I'm really interested and also to hear what Jamie Lee said about national's justice policies too. So go ahead.
We didn't even get to justice because it was the week that Labour... It was, in fact, I think the day after Labour had announced the free tertiary education and $50 extra for student allowance.
Right.
And we ended up just talking about tertiary education the whole time and getting into a bit of an argument, obviously, because I was like, well, what is your response to the fact that probably all uni students are just going to see $50 and be like, okay, sweet, because they just can't afford it, like it's just sort of basic needs that are covered by that $50, which goes a lot further than probably any of them realise. Yeah. So he didn't really have much to say about that, except he said, we're not going to promise free, we're not just going to promise free money that is going to end up in you paying higher taxes later.
So that's sort of, you can't just throw money at a
problem.
Stance,
yeah.
Which is
so
not true.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
I mean, I saw where he was coming from, but at the same time, I just kind of kept saying, it's $50 that we wouldn't otherwise have, and that's just going to be a huge incentive for so many people. They also they're saying they're going to put in $15.5 million into like polytechnics and private public universities, and $24 million into private institutions. So huge kind of funding boost to both of those.
Right.
But interesting that they're putting more into private sector.
Definitely.
I think that their tertiary education union said that it just goes to show what they value more. Jamie Lee did say, people that are educated in a private university tend to go on and make more than their counterparts in polytechnic universities. I guess that just depends. But yeah, that was sort of his stance on that. But he did. I mean, I said to him, "What's National's vision for tertiary education if you get re-elected?" And he just said, "We want everybody to feel that any path that they want to take or any training that they want to undergo is open to them and not blocked by lack of funding." So
right.
I said, "Where's my $50?"
That is perfect.
And then I closed it.
Yeah, I think that is a good place to stop it. But thank you very much,
Cheers, guys. We'll
and
see you again
very shortly. Before we cut to our next segment, I just want to say I've got a few comments from BFM, old friends of BFM. Jared Kerr says morning, and Ruth Calderwood says cool earphones, put a little.
Ruth, I have to wear them, okay, or then I can't hear anything. So if
but
you would
shout
shout
outs to you guys.
Next up, we're going to have Justine Sachs, if she'd like to come up on stage and say hello. We're our first commentator of the night.
Hey, Justine.
Hey.
How are you?
Have a seat. Have a seat on set.
Do I have to grab
Yes, grab that and talk straight into it, like a mic.
I usually do like this, and it's not good. I won't do that.
That wouldn't be that gross. Okay. Maybe a little bit. Like keep your reasonable distance.
Keep a reasonable distance.
We're at BFM here. We're not fancy. Hey, so how are you feeling tonight?
I'm not feeling good.
Not feeling good?
No, I looked at the exit polls and I was like, okay, maybe. 10 minutes into it, I'm like, no, this is a repeat. I've never had a good election result. Have you guys? I mean, like, it was like Jeremy Corbyn, and we were like, woo woo, but he still didn't win.
I think it's as long as I've been not conscious, but politically aware of politics, I've never had a good election result in my book. I mean, so I guess I just want to ask, like, what is your thoughts been on the whole campaign? These past 6-7 months, just in general.
Well, this is turning out exactly as I thought it would, in the worst way possible, because I really wanted to be proven wrong tonight. I wasn't like, I thought that Labour would lose this election because they weren't offering an alternative to National. And the thing is, centrist voters are gonna, like, right-wing people, house owners, centrists are gonna vote for National because they want the real thing. They don't want the home brand version, the version where your taxes are a little bit up or maybe there's a little bit more spending. They don't want it. They're not gonna turn out, they're not gonna switch over. So that was my prediction. I thought if Labour wanted to win, they had to turn out the people that didn't vote. The students, the poor and the disadvantaged, the real working class of New Zealand. And their policies just weren't aimed at that. That's not who they were going for. And as long as they try to get that centre, that was my prediction, and unfortunately I feel like it's come to fruition in the worst way possible.
Chris Trotter is like another political commentator, kind of summed it up perfectly, where he said, like, Jacinda is the perfect saleswoman for Labour, but it's just a shitty product.
It's a shitty product. Yeah, and everyone was going on about the Jacinda effect, and like there was no substance behind it. They were like, what is the Jacinda effect? Nothing's changed. And everyone, like, it was like people had like a mask that fell over them. They just couldn't see past it. And I feel like we've just seen tonight that it wasn't enough. You can't mask in, crap. A good, like, a shiny veneer. It's just not working.
It's like you can't
sprinkle glitter on a turd
or something. And also, I think that thing you said about I think that thing that you sort of said about the Jacinda effect also is really interesting, because I think that's what they had in Canada with Justin Trudeau. It's what they had in France with Francois Hollande. What's his name?
Emmanuel Macron.
Emmanuel Macron. Oh, that's the old guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, can we talk about Macron though? Because he ended up being like a weird monarchist, like Roman emperor. Like, people were like, he's the safe bet, and now he's like, I'm a king. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like,
relax.
Is this centrism? Is like centrism the new, like, we love the monarchy? And it is, because people are like, Hillary was the first in line to the throne, and Bernie's like, and I'm like, maybe that's the thing. Maybe
so
they're
sort
just
of like weird monarch discourse about all politics.
The centrists are just like monarchists. I think that's where we're going, and like, Jacinda's the princess. I don't know, but it's really weird.
And also, I guess, like, what do you think has been the most pressing or concerning issues during the election?
I think the issue was tax, right?
Right.
And I think that's what lost Labour the election, because the National Party won that debate very, very easily. Because when, like, the Labour Party, instead of sort of like being staunch and being like, yes, the rich need to pay tax, they couldn't say that because they were too worried about business interests, and they want to appear like friendly to all those kind of things, the corporates, because they're budget responsibility and all that. So they can't campaign. They can't say, like, this is a popular message. Tax the fucking rich.
You're allowed to swear, don't
tax
worry.
the shit out of them.
Go hard.
Go for their toothbrushes, take their pools. Like, okay, I'm being a bit hard.
Toothbrushes and pools, the main things rich people care about. They're like, don't touch the electric toothbrush, don't touch my fucking pool, right?
Yeah. If Labour had gone for that and they'd said, no, we want to tax the rich.
Yeah.
I firmly believe they could have won. But because National attacked them, they said, you're going to raise taxes on working class families. If Labour had been like, no, we're going to raise their wages and we're going to tax the rich, working class people would have come for that. But Labour had nothing to say, and then and so New Zealand rejected that. And I when I saw that, I actually tweeted, like, I'm like, fourth term for National, and that's when the polls started turning. And I think I think I was right. I'm sorry, guys. I think I'm gonna spend the whole night being like, I was right, but I'm really sad.
You're right. But also, it's not your fault. It's not, you didn't cause it.
Also, it's alright. Like, it's too early to call it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we could have a shift.
Look,
We haven't called it
if
yet.
it shifts, I'll happily eat something gross, give it to me, I'll eat it.
I mean, what do you think?
Wrong.
Do you think poverty's been an issue though? Do you think that's been do you think it's been a main focus, or not as much in the limelight as it's needed to be?
No, it hasn't. I mean, the Greens sidelined their poverty campaign, and they were literally the only ones who were talking about that. And sort of in the wake of the Materia Ture resignation, they actually sort of pushed away attention from that, and there were there was more attention put on the Greens being business friendly, and I voted for the Greens, right? But I mean, we can be critical. I think poverty should have been the issue, but New Zealanders, middle class, working class New Zealanders hate poor people. No one wanted to campaign on that, and that was it's I think it's pretty much an indictment of our society, right? It doesn't say it doesn't say good things about us.
No, definitely. I also wanted to ask you, because I think I saw this term come up quite a lot during this election, is the idea of critically supporting a party, right? I think it's come up a lot, and I see it a lot, but I don't think people understand sort of what it is. So can you sort of explain what it means to critically support a party?
It means in an election year, we're all, I mean, I'm a leftist, I'm a socialist, right? I genuinely believe in coming for people's toothbrushes. No, I don't. But,
toothbrushes in the pools.
I believe in work. I believe in a workers' democracy. But when it comes to voting, I don't think that we should turn our nose and snub and be and just abstain from this whole process. I do think people's lives are at stake. I do think a Labour Party. Labour Greens government would have marginally improved people's lives. I believe it would have saved a couple of lives too, and I think that's important. So critical support means in an election year, we support the reforms that we think are going to help people, and we push for more, right? So it means that you don't go sort of full headlong for a party and kind of aren't able to critique them. It just means you understand you're being it's a pragmatic idealism in the way that Jacinda would never understand. So we know what we stand for. We're principled, but we also know come an election year, we will fall behind and support the best outcome for working class people, students, and marginalized people, because that's what we have to do. That's like the current.
And I do want to ask about Jacinda as well, because obviously her area of expertise and things that the thing that she kind of the massive project that she wants to fix is like child poverty, and then obviously with the whole thing that happened with Matiria, do you think it's kind of a double standard in the sense that she wasn't there to present her support?
I mean, I called Jacinda a scab when she did that.
And we all saw it.
And I
and we enjoyed
absolutely
it.
stand by that statement. Absolutely, like that was disgusting. And she should have stood by Matiria at that point. They let the media walk all over that narrative. They don't fight back any. They just didn't want to fight back at any point, and they completely capitulated. Jacinda says she cares about child poverty, but she can't support like a solo mum on the benefit, trying to support her kid and like have enough food to put on the table. I mean, so what do you stand for then, kind of? I mean, I'm kind of critical of the whole child poverty thing anyways, because it just seems like a sort of neat way to talk about poverty without actually talking about like so people, adults in poverty don't count. I mean, like I think it's just like the way to kind of like focus on these innocent, like kids are innocent, right? They don't deserve to be in poverty. Well, no one deserves to be in poverty. So straight up, but yeah, I do think she was a scab for that.
I did have on my list, what is your prediction? But I think you've basically already told us what your prediction is for the night. Are we sticking by that? Are we sticking by that?
What's the latest?
The latest here, I've got national. So we've only had 19.2% of results counted. I've got national at 46.2%. Labour is at 30.
That's like worse than I thought.
36.3. New Zealand First at 7. Green Party at 6. ACT at 0.5, and the others are there. So that's what we're looking at right now. So are we standing by the prediction?
Yeah, I voted last election, and I was way more idealistic, and I was at actually the Labour Party.
I think I saw something about it on Twitter and I found it so funny.
I wish we had those photos up right now of Justine when she left the Labour Party.
So, and actually that night was a really important night for me because halfway through I'm like, nah man, I gotta leave, can't do this. And I went to the Greens Party and I mean like I remember watching a lot that night and I remember like thinking, oh, it'll turn around, because I never like closely watched an election result before, and it didn't.
Were you campaigning for Cunliffe, was it?
Yeah, I was campaigning for Chow Fu Wu in the Tamaki Electorate. Actually this year I met Sam MacDonald, who ran for Labour in the Tamaki Electorate. Yep.
We'll take that as that. And yeah, I mean, do you have any final comments to round us off?
I mean, like, so when the final results come out, I just want the left, I mean, like, those of us who are progressive, who care about the working class, who care about poverty, who care about students and the housing crisis, to not be too disenchanted and upset, because I think this is the last time we can feasibly allow the Labour Party to fuck us over. So I think something needs to be done. Holler at Jeremy Corbyn. Maybe he can give us some tips about what to do with this.
I remember because I used to host the Thursday Why before Harry, and like when the UK election was happening, I would always like try and ask Andrew Little, like, are you sure you don't want to take any tips from Jeremy Corbyn? And he's like, oh, you know, I don't think we really need to. And I'm like, I think you do. I don't know. Like,
did you see that meme where it was like, as Andrew Little being like, that's a fine looking Labour Party in the UK.
Yes.
Why doesn't mine look like that? So anyways, so we're all joining the Labour Party and we're all gonna just
I can't wait to see the day that you change the Labour Party, Justine. Thank you so much for coming. Cheers.
Oh wait, first before you leave, we want to play a game with you.
Oh,
we
God,
do want to
yes,
play a
that
game
was-
with you.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to play it?
Well, you kind of have to play it. We're going to force you to play
We're
it.
going to make you force play it. So we're going to play. Am I going to be able to stand up?
Yeah.
Let's try this.
That's
We're
fine.
going to play Pin the Moustache on Gareth Morgan. So if I just turn this around, I don't know if the camera can see what I'm doing right now. I've got a A3 photograph. Thank you to Amelia, our creative director, for very kindly just photoshopping Gareth Morgan's moustache off. It was a very weird request to give to her on a Thursday afternoon.
And that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
All right, there he is. And he looks pretty upset. So we've got a little moustache. This obviously isn't...
It was really I only just watched like an interview with Gareth Morgan and I was like, really?
We don't have a blindfold because we're BFM.
Yeah.
So if you want to,
like,
why don't you just take your glasses off?
Okay,
and we'll see how this goes. I'll push the couch out. Why don't you walk over and we'll make sure you don't fall. I'm just going to push. Oh! Not off the stage, guys.
Yeah, not off the stage.
Okay. I hope
Okay, just make sure she
I will
also
tell
doesn't
you
fall off the
if you
stage.
fall.
Maybe just
you
like
go.
hold her.
This is going to be as accurate as Labour is in touch with the electorate.
Oh my god.
Oh, actually,
Oh no, I can't do too well now. Okay, wait.
Amazing. Solid effort. Thank you so much,
Jesse.
Jesse. Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh,
shit.
I think we're going to play that with everyone now.
I think we
That's
should
fun.
do, yeah.
I want to play it at some point,
I think
not right now.
Baby Todd can go over there again. Hi, Mac.
Hi, Mac. There's your mic. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Hey, have any electorate seats been called yet? Because I've got my electorate bell that I will ring every time a seat is won.
No, none have been called so far. No, we only have 20.1% of the results in so far. But that's already enough for some people to warn lights out for the Māori Party. They're at about 1% of the party vote at the moment, and Te Ururoa, who's the current incumbent in Wairiki, is trailing behind Labour's Tamati Coffee. So that would be quite an upset. But
Wow.
it would also mean...
That's a shock.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at all.
either.
No, that's,
I mean, for a time
I'm
they
actually
were
kind of genuinely shocked right now.
They were making themselves out to be the kingmakers in all of this. But if they don't have an
The
MP
numbers.
and they don't have 5%, then obviously that's not going to happen. And half an hour ago we talked about the record advance voting and how that might play out for national. But 65% of that has been counted, and Labour's up 10 points. So right over Labour in that, and in the overall votes, National is on 46.2%, Labour's on 36.3%, and New Zealand First at 7.1%, and Green at 6.1%. So pretty similar to what we saw.
Right.
It's kind of I mean we've got 10 and a bit more percentage. And it's still exactly the same. But as I said, that Māori Party may be the upset. We've also got a few kind of close electorates happening right now. So Auckland Central, only 12% has been counted. But Labour's Helen White, who is fairly kind of low profile compared to Nikki Kay, is actually beating Nikki Kay by 200 votes at the moment.
Really?
I know, yeah.
Oh my God.
So that will be interesting to follow. Epsom, with 20% counted, has David Seymour only just ahead of Paul Goldsmith. So, I mean, I know
we need to
a few
get to those
people
Epsom. We need to get to those Epsom boys.
Oh, come on, Epsom
Ready to celebrate.
ASAP. Maybe we have to
Yeah.
give them a little message and try to get to them if we, as soon as we find out whether David has kept his seat.
And saving the best for last of the upsets, in Northland, you only have 5% counted, but already Matt King from National is ahead of Winston Peters. So
Winston's gonna go crazy.
I mean, that would
Winston's gonna lose his
This is
fucking
like a
mind.
time where I wish we had a live cross to like Winnie Peters, but I think they're up north somewhere.
It's the time where I wish, but then also I know he'd just be such a handful to deal with that maybe I don't wish that we had to deal with him finding out that he's about to lose his seat, potentially lose his seat to National.
I'm hoping for a tantrum of sorts. But
That would
yeah,
be great. Imagine seeing Winston Peters just have a full-on meltdown, like when kids get in the supermarket and they just fucking lose it. Sorry. No offense, Winston. I doubt you're watching this, but yeah.
I think he will be.
Do you think he will be?
Isaac Luke.
This is definitely his vibe.
If anyone is like, this is like everyone's number one go-to source.
Especially Winston Peters.
Especially Winston Peters.
He'll come to us to get cheered
John's
up because he
watching.
doesn't want to get
That's right.
bogged down in the others.
That's
but
right.
really, we'll be going hardest on him. So that's not going to help, is it?
No, it's not. All right, thank you very
All
much,
right,
Matt.
thanks.
We'll see you in the next half hour. Very soon we're going to have Hopetown Brown in studio, but first I think we wanted to have a look at what Jogai has titled Some Lukewarm Takes.
Yeah, this
I
is
can have my
something that
computer on the
I
screen.
personally birthed. So people in the New Zealand poll Twitter sphere are never afraid to tell you exactly that they're thinking. The only problem is sometimes people don't give a shit. So here's some of our favourite lukewarm takes from this election cycle. I think we'll go on to the first one if we can, Hugh.
It is there, Jogai, if you would just look
well,
behind
I'm looking
you.
at the fucking monitor. It's not there.
Do you want to read this one out?
Yeah, so this is Giovanni Tisso. For that matter, why would I want Sean Plunkett to delete his account? Every tweet of his is worth precious votes for every other party.
Good take, good take. A classic. Matthew Hooton, I think, has really been a pillar stone of NZ poll Twitter for all the wrong reasons, basically, from getting upset to people early voting, which seems unnecessary. At the most, he did a what do you call this? And he wrote something. That's what I'm trying to say.
A think piece?
Yeah, I don't think he's thought much about it. This is called Why Jacinda Needs to Lose This Election, and that appeared on the Daily Blog.
Right, and next is, look, it's again.
Matty Boy again.
Dear.
Whoa, we're going to have to move that Gareth pic soon because he's right behind my shoulder and I don't like it.
Okay, he's creeping over you.
Yeah.
Dear New Zealand Morning Report, could you get a person from Auckland Council who knows something rather than Phil Goff?
You mean the mayor?
This is my favourite one. Holy shit, Ben Thomas is so good.
Do you want to read it since it's your fave?
I do want to read it. Nationals tired. Labour's shallow. Both prob have to govern with Winston. If there was ever a good election to lose, it may be this one.
Sounds like a weird poem I'd write when I was
like
15
This is not
or
a
something.
good take. This is like a terrible take.
Man, I really hope the next one is one I think it is. Damn, it's not. I didn't really get this one, but I'll let you explain, Jogai. I expect Top would win the curse on all your houses vote, so long as Gareth was number 5 on his own list.
Yeah.
So, can you explain this one to me? Because I don't really get it,
so
if I'm being honest.
it's not really even the tweet itself, it's just that I really love the zigzag motherfucker. I love George Brennan. That's the only reason, so we'll just skip past it. It's fine. This is a personal fave of mine. This is at Hugh Sunday. Pulled the finger to a party street.
It's got a big old fuck you in the earphones. Thank you.
Pulled the finger to a party street team, then remembered I'm in the work car.
On brand, on point,
hot take.
Accurate. Great hot take. There really was a window when an alliance between Ardern and Tudor would have been possible, and it would have been formidable. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff,
No
Giovanni. This is our good friend Sam Smith replying to Sean Plunkett, who said, explaining is losing. And Sam says, no, being a dick is losing.
Which is true.
You tell him, Sam.
We're calling this lukewarm take, but that's a certified hot take from our very own Sam Smith.
Thanks, Sam.
Russell Brown, I loved this one.
Love it.
Putin's like the dollar store version of a Russian disinfo campaign. On the mark.
DJ Public Address, thank you very much. No, this is Guy Williams. I respect Guy Williams.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. He's a nice guy. Let's not get into this. But being a politician, even when you're winning, you're losing.
What does that mean? I don't get it. Like, what? No, I'm actually genuinely serious. I don't understand where he was trying to go with it. Even when you're winning, you're losing. How? Why? Because being a politician sucks?
I think the premise that you just have to think about it. That's it. It doesn't mean anything. It prompts you to think a little bit.
Yeah.
Even when you're winning, you're losing.
Oh, this is your tweet, Jogai.
How they getting there?
This is weird. I don't know how this happened.
I don't know how they got there.
What does it say, Jogai?
I thought they were
And the context of this was?
This is the First Leaders debate, which Mike Hosking facilitated, and I don't think Jacinda was on game. Bill wasn't on his game either. And so
Was Mike on his game?
Mike actually was on his game. He was the most entertaining part of that debate, in my humble opinion.
I do want to say this right now, that as much as I have so much disdain for Mike Hosking in general and as a person, and the debates I have watched him moderate have been he's been pretty good. I think he was...
But then again, do we want to give him a medal for not doing his job?
No, I don't, but I just wanted to point that out, especially the last one I watched when he basically wouldn't let Bill not admit that there wasn't a poverty issue.
He's not on that same level with Bill as he was with John Key, though. That's kind of...
I guess it maybe probably just doesn't like Bill that much.
Yeah. And I think that's the end of that's the end of lukewarm takes for now. But yeah, we're going to jump into Hopetown Brown, I believe.
Do you guys want to come up?
Come on up.
Oh, yes, we do.
Are they ready? Has Jules disconnected
Can you do that? We're just organising the backing vocals.
Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, dear. They're coming up. Yeah, do you want to play a song, Hugh, while we get it set up? Great.
Okay, sweet.
Yo. Is this a spot?
Yeah.
Stay there, is it?
You guys ready to go? Is this stage going to be alright? God, I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be alright.
You'll be alright?
I think so. So we're on TV now, aren't we?
You are. Look,
yes, you're live.
If you look down there you are.
Okay, hey, BB's ready. BB's ready. You'll get the hang of it. You get 4 goes at it. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you for coming on. I very much appreciate it.
We'll do the song, so all of the listeners and viewers out there, I'll sing the chorus one line at a time, and you can, everyone in this room here can encourage you to. I'll sing a line, you all sing it back.
Ah,
to me, okay?
interactive.
I've got a mic on, so I'm going to pass.
I'm going to go hard out. So.
First line. What do you want from the liquor store?
What do you want from the liquor store?
Something sour or something sweet.
Something sour or something sweet.
I'll buy you all that your belly can hold.
I'll buy you all that your belly can hold.
You can be sure you won't suffer no more.
You can be sure you won't suffer no more.
Good morning, my darling, I'm telling you this to let you know that I'm sorry to say. Tears and sorrow won't do you no good, but I'll be a doctor if I knew that I could. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour, something sweet. I'll buy you all that your belly can hold, and you can be sure you won't suffer no more. Swim the ocean on the deepest canal and get to your darling just to make it real. There's no place on earth I wouldn't chasing to go. If fever this I want you to know. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour, something sweet. I'll buy you all that your belly can hold, and you can be sure you won't suffer no more. Wish the doctor would hurry a show. There's quite a few places I know we could go. I was okay, but these words from you stayed in your sick, made me sick too. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour, something sweet. I'll buy you all that your belly can hold, and you can be sure you won't suffer no more. I promise me, darling, that you won't die. I get all the medicine money can buy. Stay with me, darling, hold on and fight. Take a good rest and won't put on the fight. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour, something sweet. I'll buy you all that your belly can hold, and you can be sure you won't suffer no more. What do you want from the liquor store? Something sour, something sweet. I'll buy you all that your belly can hold.
They're not just a
Very good work.
team.
They're more than a news team. They're a bloody choir, aren't they, or something?
And do you want one more little short song?
Yeah, let's have another one. Go ahead.
Okay, this one's called Burning Fuse, which is probably the way we all feel.
Yes, when
tonight.
I know.
Very tense, very tense. Across the horizon, like a burning fuse, dust in my guts, bugs in my veins, sky lit up like 1,000 layers of hair. It was the prettiest thing I've ever seen. I've ever seen. 1,000 miles from forgotten. 2 days out of misery. Wash my head in alcohol. Bring it on, candy gills, touching my brain 1,000 miles. Forgotten 2 days out of misery. Wash my hands in alcohol. Baby, don't come back to me. Oh, one night, a very tense night, and we would like to make a public service announcement for all you very tense people out there worried about the election result and the future of our country, yet they're still hopeful. And what we would like to say is, if you want to come and dance and come down and party, come down to the Whammy Bar, where we will be playing after 10 in support of our fellow Will and Tony Musos, The Nudge. Come check out The Nudge. Thank you for your patience. We are Hopetown Brown. Across the horizon, like a burning fuse, dust in my guns, bugs in my beer, started up like 1,000 layers of hell. It was the prettiest thing I've ever seen. 1,000 miles from Pecan, 2 days out of misery. Wash my hands in alcohol. Baby, don't come back to me. Baby, don't come back to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Love it, very nice. Hey, remember you
Election.
can catch those guys at Whammy Bar tonight. Now, you just
can.
saw a comment on our Facebook live stream question
I
that
did
you wanted to have a little chat about.
Gemma French Nakano asked, what do you guys think of the idea of the youthquake? Did it happen? Is the student vote going to swing enough one way to make a difference? What do you think, Pearl?
I think I was actually thinking about the idea of a youthquake the other day, and I think what's really interesting about it is that there's sort of an assumption, and I mean maybe it is somewhat truthful, that younger people vote to the left. You know, they vote to Labour, they vote to the Green Party, which, you know, does have some say in it. Sorry, just cracking up at Jules working hard down the bottom, getting the mics back. Good on you, mate.
Fantastic.
Oh, look at him go.
Oh, thanks, Jules.
We work hard here. What I was going to say though is that when I was thinking about that, you know, I think I know as many people my age and, you know, have met at university who will vote on the right. You know, I don't think it's exclusively necessarily an age thing. And I think,
and I mean, we went to Western Springs, so it's like that's another
I feel like
bubble right there.
You know, it was a sheltered school, but I think the idea of a youthquake sometimes is a little bit just flawed, basically, because you know people will vote. You know, it depends on their upbringing and all the things. So, in terms of this election, I mean, I saw stats the other day that, you know, this is a lower youth voter turnout than we had in 2014.
Oh, really?
So maybe that this idea that, you know, and I mean this was earlier this week, so maybe this idea that the youth are going to save the Labour Party and that they're going to save the left is probably not that true. And whether the fact did it happen, I mean, I guess we're not gonna know that till later tonight.
Who came up with the term youthquake?
I don't know.
I saw Bryce Edwards use it, and I just assumed
doubt
it was him. But anyway. Yeah, I was just going to say there was this thing just last week, I think, about how, you know, despite Jacinda Mania being this massive thing, it wasn't resulting in enrollments because over 250,000 young people were still yet to enrol up this time last week.
Yeah, and I think there was a thing when Jacinda first took over the Labour Party, you know, a couple of months back, that there was a rise in younger people joining to volunteer at the Labour Party. But I mean, you know, necessarily that does not reflect the... kind of smell pizza, but I think I might be imagining that.
Send us something, or like I was thinking about that as well.
Is there?
I think we ordered it. Okay, we ordered it.
We ordered it. You know what? Never mind.
It's fine.
Well, since we're talking to you anyway, do the Wire hosts want to come back up on stage?
We've also got an emergency hot take.
Oh, we've got an emergency hot take Skype standby. I mean, Wire hosts, come on and we'll talk to
Gareth Morgan. He says that he's disappointed in all of New Zealand. Is anyone there?
He's disappointed.
Do we have Gareth Morgan?
No.
Oh my God!
Why would you phrase it like
say
that to me?
Gareth. You said it like he was going to be on the live stream, and I was like, where?
So sorry, do we have someone on Skype?
Adam?
Hello?
No. Okay.
Was that a joke? What was that?
I don't know. Anyway, we have our wire host.
Sorry,
back
guys.
on.
We have you guys, which is all that I care about. My angels. Sorry, I got weird. I'll calm down. So your third week of our election coverage was economy and work. I'm going to change the order up. We're going to start with Kelly.
Okay.
Kelly, what did you?
I actually, my laptop died, so I'm going off memory.
Okay.
I have a charge. Okay, we'll sort that out later.
But I remember a lot. So, we talked mostly about immigration, me and Jamie Lee. So there was a bit of an uproar recently with the amendments they made for the essential skills visa and the temporary residence visas. So they made it so that kind of low-skilled immigrants could only stay for 2 years, and then they'd have to go back to their home countries and then have a 6-month stand-down period before they could reapply to come back. They made it so that families couldn't come with low-skilled migrants. So they sort of made, I kind of questioned him about it, and I said they've sort of made a proxy between, low pay as in means low-skilled.
Right.
So it was sort of saying, like, we don't really value people that aren't bringing us money, which I suppose is kind of, that's similar to what Top was saying as well. If you're not going to bring something to our economy, why should we have you here? I know, I guess
it's also a sort of, I find sometimes it's a bit of an uncomfortable thing to talk about, you're talking about these humans, these people,
and we feel like
they're a number,
like they're a
commodity, exactly, which I think is it can be really uncomfortable to sort of have these conversations around sometimes, especially when you have these parties. And I think I think a lot of parties are guilty of doing this, not just National, it's not just TIP,
And they're quite practical about it, but I mean, even National's probably the most pro, like, even though they're not, super pro-immigration, they're probably more pro than
Labour
anybody else.
Exactly.
And I
think and I think it's weird that sort of like being rational about it, you forget that you're talking about people, about human beings.
Exactly. Yeah.
India, what did you get from the Māori Party?
So we focused our show quite a lot on tax, and the first thing Marama said was that she gets annoyed when people say that tax cuts are just for the rich, because often they do put money in the pockets of low income earners who need it. And she said that Labour's new taxes, like the petrol tax, will impact. She was kind of focusing a lot on people who are already struggling with the cost of living, and she really wants all New Zealanders to be earning a living wage that's keeping up with rising living costs. So we mostly talked about those kinds of things. And
Opportunities Party?
So they want to introduce a UBI.
Right.
Which will sort of account for a lot of unpaid work that goes on, and also I guess the workforce is becoming a lot more freelance work, and contracts aren't as sort of a lot more casual. So they want to introduce that to families with young children, and the elderly would be the first groups that get it, so that would be $200 a week. And then we talked a lot about their basically huge overhaul that they want to have of the tax system. So they don't want to, Jeff Simmons said that Labour and National both want to raise the amount of tax collected overall.
Right.
But whereas their system is tax neutral, but would shift the way that it's distributed between wealth and property. So property would be taxed more, and then that would be redistributed to cut income taxes by 30%, and that would leave 80% of people better off.
Right.
So that would in turn help the housing crisis, and because people wouldn't be investing their money in housing.
Yeah, and
they'd be putting it in businesses I
definitely feel like the Opportunities Party sort of had one of the more different or radical tax.
It's pretty massive, and it would take. He said it would take over a decade to kind of implement it fully, because otherwise it would crash the housing market. And he's very much against like a capital gains tax. Because he said it hasn't really worked overseas, but it does want to shift the way that taxation is.
Hasn't New Zealand first said that they're not? This may have been quite a while ago, but they were saying that they would refuse to go into coalition with Labour if they didn't, specify exactly what taxes they were going to be doing after the election.
Yeah, I think that was something they said, because I can't remember, is New Zealand First pro or anti capital gains tax, which has been Labour's big thing for the election. Yeah. Speaking of, Harry, do you want to tell us a bit more about Labour's work and economy?
So I mean, I've spoken with, well, Labour have had a very interesting election with tax discussion. I've spoken with not Stephen Joyce, Grant Robertson, Bill Twyford, and Calvin Davis, and they've all, I mean, particularly there's been the fiscal hole situation. So Stephen Joyce claimed that there was an $11.7 billion hole in the Labour plan, but they could not find any economists to back it up. And so there was a really heated debate between Grant Robertson and Stephen Joyce on RNZ, on the Morning Report, with Guy and Espiner, and they were just basically going at each other, which was quite entertaining. I spoke with Grant then later that afternoon, and he basically just said he's very disappointed and angry about Joyce's unsubstantiated claims about the Labour plan. Reputable economists have been backing Labour, and National have got, they had no one really, except he said Bill English.
Didn't Joyce also admit after saying that he like failed some of his economics papers in university and stuff, and he was like, "Oh guys, sorry." I mean, well, no, he didn't say sorry because he's refused to apologise for this,
Yeah,
this
and then
false claim,
even
essentially.
this week, Paula Bennett and Phil Twyford went head to head on it, and Paula Bennett went and said, "Oh yeah, I support Stephen and Bill."
Yeah, right.
And Phil was just like, "You've got nothing." It makes for quite entertaining. But in terms of tax, so there's this, Labour have this decision to outsource to a tax working group.
Right.
They've been very here and there about what's been going on. So initially, Andrew Little said that we were going to. He pledged that the recommendations would be made public before the election. Jacinda then did a U-turn on that and said, "No, we're gonna leave it for now. This is too important. We need to get this stuff going." And then National went in on the attack. And so the first few leaders' debates, that was like the main attack.
Did you talk much to Labour about their immigration plans?
I didn't.
When you did work in economy?
I didn't actually.
Because that's sort of something I think that has been quite interesting with Labour, is they're hugely drastic.
I just know, their statement on it is we're taking a breather on immigration.
Taking a breather on immigration, because that's
what. They want to cut down 20,000 to 20,000, and New Zealand First wants to cut down to 10,000.
So if you didn't hear that, because Kelly wasn't on a mic, they want to cut down to 20,000 immigrants per year, and New Zealand First want to go down to 10,000. Did you have anything else to add about Labour's tax?
Not really. No, we're all good.
Joel,
yeah.
The Greens, what do they have to say?
Also, just make sure you touch on capital gains tax as well, because in between Greens and Labour, that was a point of contention.
So for the Greens, one of the key tax ideas they have is to slow down the housing market with a capital gains tax, which Labour sort of haven't vowed to do in their first term. And they sort of think that will be one of the best ways to sort of redistribute wealth and sort of, and that's one of their main ideas too, is that sort of like, sure, the economy is going well for a select few, but it's also going horribly for a select few as well, or for a large amount of people, not a select few. And so they're sort of calling that like a split economy.
Right.
And they're saying that to really like rejuvenate economic spending, what we need to do is introduce living wages, and we need to sort of look at ways to get lower income earners spending and getting them more money so they aren't struggling as much. And the Green Party also have this idea called what they call a clean economy, so which no other party has really touched on, is the idea that like if we have drastic climate change effects and serious pollution, then our economy is going to go to shit, basically. So the Green Party is sort of saying like we need to prioritize sort of keeping our country sort of environmentally friendly and carbon neutral, and the effects of that will come through our economy, and we will sort of find it it'll be more beneficial basically for what's going on.
Cool. Hey, I think now we are crossing to Connor and Connor, who are either going to be at National or might still be at ACT. Let's find out. I think I'm getting... Hello.
BFM, are you there?
Hey, we're still at ACT. It seems like you guys are having a good time at ACT.
We have found the ACT sign.
Okay.
There is a team behind my head. I've chosen to block it out to keep in line with the party manifesto. Something great has happened since you last saw us, though. Canapes have come around, so we're going to be starting a mission called Canape Discovery. Currently, I'm working with a little meatball of some kind. Possibly a veal, scented with pepper and maybe nutmeg.
Yeah.
I am going to give you the other corner though quickly to run through what's happening with Epsom's results.
Indeed. So the results so far that we're seeing right now is 25.8% counted for Epsom, David Seymour from the ACT Party is leading with 3,881 votes against Paul Goldsmith's 3,089 votes. Meanwhile, David Parker is trailing with 1,529, and Conservative Party leader Leighton Baker is at 56 votes so far. So that's the update for the Epsom election results so far. The mood in the ACT Party as a result, still confident, still feeling like David Seymour is going to remain here for another 3 years.
Hey, two things. I didn't even know the Conservative Party was still around. Second thing, Connor, Connors, both of you, do you think that we're going to see David taking a seat again this election?
It seems that way at the moment, though Paul Goldsmith is a lot closer than in previous years. So really, we will have to wait until later on in the night to find out if that means the National retake the seat after, for the first time since Rodney Hyde stepped onto the stage.
Hey, Connor Mercer, how was that canapé?
Well, I tell you what, X onto a winner in more than one way tonight. that canap, as I've heard it mentioned around here, had wonderful flavour, it fully balanced the meat, and I would say in between circle and oblong, so a gauge for you at home. Not as big as a golf ball, maybe a large cat pool.
Thank you very much,
Cheers,
Connor.
boys. We'll talk to you soon.
Sausage rolls next round. See you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We will see you very soon at the National thing as well.
Yeah, make sure you go to that. You need to go to that.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Goodbye.
I think we're quickly going to have Mac back on for our...
Thank you, Wire host. We will see you very shortly. If we could have Mac on with an update
30-minute
on the numbers.
bulletin. Come on in, Mackenzie Smith.
I want to pin the moustache on Gareth Morgan soon, by the way.
With Mac?
No, just with myself. Thank you. Hi, what's happening?
The numbers.
Give us a lowdown.
All right. So we're at 27.6% of the vote right now.
What were we at last time?
We're at 20%, and I
Oh,
think
okay. All right, we're moving.
the time before that 7%. So
Okay, yeah,
slower,
moving
arguably slower, but we're getting there. And it's looking exactly the same. Labour, Nationals at 46, 10 points up from Labour, and then New Zealand First at 7, Green Party at 6. So nothing's really changed in that regard. Let's go back to those electorates we were talking about, the potential upsets.
Has any electorate seats been won yet?
No, still nothing's been won so far. No.
Okay, you can't bring it yet because
now it's meaningless.
It's been an hour and a half, and it's sitting there staring me in the face.
All
right, so Auckland Central, Nikki Kay's now swapped her lead around, so now she's up on Helen White. But it's a small lead, and we're still only 21% counted. As you heard from Connor 1 and Connor 2, David Seymour is still ahead of Paul Goldsmith, but only slightly. So nothing's certain. Matt King, now we're up to 14% in Northland, and Nationals Matt King is still ahead of Winston Peters. And although I feel like I overstated that in the previous bulletin,
Did I get too excited
historically we had our little news team go for a little analysis, and historically it's actually a national seat, and Winnie only won
that was a by-election.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wairiki 15% counted, and Tamati Coffee is still up on Te Ururoa. Right. But we still have, the other thing is we still have all these special votes to come in, and that's what National Party seems to be saying will kind of sway things, as well as Labour, who are banking on the big overseas vote and the youth vote as well.
So National and Labour are both banking on these special votes to give them the win, basically.
Labour,
is what we're saying, in different ways.
National says there's going to be a lot of influence in it. They wouldn't really say if it would play out in their favour or not. Labour definitely seems to think it is. And meanwhile, with Gareth Morgan and his Opportunities Party on 2%, he said he's disappointed in New Zealanders. So he's really thrown in the towel at this point. So, but his face there really says it all, doesn't it?
I really just want to put that mustache on his face because it just doesn't look quite right.
I'll do it in a minute.
Something
We'll do it in a minute. We'll do it when I'm not annoyed with him. Thank you, Matt.
All right,
thanks, Matt. I just want to say a special thanks again to our sponsors, Low Tech Media, PLS Lighting, and the Gear Room for making this live stream that you're watching right now possible. We're moving on now to...
Should we jump into our next What the Fuck moments?
Yeah.
All right. Next one is National Blunders. That is the $11.7 billion hold / no human rights spiel.
Those are pretty big blunders, if you ask me.
Pretty big blunders. It's pretty big paragraphs, so just bear with me. You wouldn't think it given their incredibly helpful public relations buddies, Crosby Textor, but National fucks up too. Nothing major really comes of it though, because they remind you that they were pretty good during the global financial crisis and expect you to think about that instead. It's considered a pretty good distraction tactic. Some of their blunders could actually be distraction tactics themselves though. Stephen Joyce came out and threw shade at Labour's financial plan, saying there was an $11.7 billion hole. The news ran with it, and it was repeated on a leaders' debate that same night before anyone had a chance to fact check it. So when they did get a chance, who the fuck wrote this? So when they get a chance to fact check it and it wasn't exactly true, well, the damage had already been done. People already think Labour is shit with money. The only evidence being is that they are not National, and like National is totes the best with money.
Like
totes the best. And so when this comes out, it just reaffirms this attitude. And then a bunch of economists come out and say Joyce is wrong.
It was actually 12 of them.
Fuck. You could brush this off as a mistake, but then National goes and does it again, saying that Labour is going to raise income taxes when they aren't. Don't say sorry if you're going to do it again, mate, but do definitely say sorry if you were Paula Bennett and you actually suck at being a human being.
Oh my god!
Lillian!
Proofread this.
Another National fuck up was when Paula told everyone that criminals have fewer human rights than others. Firstly, this isn't legally correct, at all. But secondly, it's just shitty. But here, Paula wasn't even sorry. She apologised to Bill English because he had to tell everyone she was mistaken. But she didn't actually apologise to those that she dissed in the first place. ... Awkward.
I hate to bring this word into our stream, but do you reckon we're seeing a bit of what they're calling post-truth politics here, Jogai?
I don't know.
Do you think we're seeing that maybe with these percentages that National are sitting at tonight, and the fact that they're very high, that maybe we're seeing that the thing that we saw happen in the States with Donald Trump, where you can just lie and you can lie and you can lie, and no one's going to hold you up, or it's not going to affect anything that you do.
There was that one leaders debate where I think it might have been Patrick Gower who asked Bill English something, what was it? Something about lying, and he was like, fuck, I don't even know where I'm going with that. I forgot what it was, but he basically just said that you can get away with lying.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was the whole thing with
lies.
John Key as well, the whole Teflon John, any criticism he has just... Teflon, who the fuck even uses Teflon these days? Sorry.
I don't even know what that means.
It's like a material, and stuff just wipes off it really easily.
Okay, gotcha.
Also, what I wanted to point out with Paula Bennett saying that the whole people have fewer human rights. She did backtrack and actually say that it's not reflective of the policy, which doesn't really seem to make much sense, as she said that whilst announcing the policy she said was not reflective of her comments. So I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't write this, quite a lot. Shut Lillian. That was all Lillian, our news director. Good one.
So our next what the fuck moment, Winston Peters, is probably one of the oldest politicians in Parliament. In fact, he was in politics before Jacinda Ardern was even born. Maybe that's a sign that you better just take a little break. So it's not surprising that the fraud he committed was related to a superannuation benefit. It was revealed late August that Peters had been overpaid his super. Oh, I lost my place. Anyone can get superannuation, but it doesn't mean that everyone needs it, not at least a politician on what can only assume is a pretty good salary. Peters was notified of his overpayment in July by Ministry Social Development and paid it back immediately. How much exactly? We'll never know. When he claimed it a private matter, which is arguably fair enough, but also not really. Peters also said that it was not clear how the overpayment happened, but it's odd that the so-called king of superannuation, who knows the system inside out, didn't notice the overpayments. Take a sip of that tea, because that's some truth right there.
Just water in it.
Hey, we're just gonna, one last thing I wanted to say is that that's probably why a lot of people assume that Winston Peters was very quiet when Matiria Tude admitted her benefit fraud when she was a young mother. Hey, we're gonna go to an ad break now, but we'll be back shortly after this. Cheers.
And which variety of gin, sir?
Let's try the bathtub gin.
Just a warning to you, sir, it's very English, original London gin.
Yeah, I can handle the jandal.
Oh, apples and pears, my son! You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off! Pearly Kings and eel pie! That's enough.
Boss, we've got another one. Abel Forth's new bathtub gin. Quintessential traditional London gin. Head over to Revelry Bar 106 Ponsonby Road and try some. If you can handle it. Revelry Bar, the best cocktails in the business.
Auckland Live's international cabaret season brings you The Sound of Falling Stars on now. From Hank Williams to Sam Cooke, Nick Drake to Jim Morrison, Jeff Buckley to Kurt Cobain, revel in the hits and the heartache as Cameron Goodall inhabits the souls of these great artists. Don't miss this epic and affecting experience. The Sound of Falling Stars, September 21st to 24th, The Concert Chamber, Auckland Town Hall. Tickets start at $20. Book at aucklandlive.co.nz.
Bring your friends, it's cool.
It's music.
95 BFM, the original originator. Broadcast to the world and podcast to your device on 95bfm.com.
Welcome back. You are tuned into the 95 BFM.
I just took a sip of water and it went down the rest. I'm so sorry.
We've got some pizza with us now, which is a fantastic segue into our next What the Fuck moment, which is, of course, the old Bill English pizza. So, just don't mind me, just having a little bit of din-dins. In a bizarre attempt to relate to ordinary people, Bill English shared with the nation his unique recipe for a pineapple and spaghetti pizza. The quote, "Cooked dinner for the family last night. Like if you agree with tin pizza on spaghetti."
I never knew that he wrote "like if you agree." That's fucking awful.
Accompanied a picture of English's face inches above the monstrosity he'd created, and was quickly adopted into the family as his honorary sixth son.
Holy shit, he's got a lot of kids. The thing I wanted to say about the Bill English and the pizza, that photo, I was going to ask if you could get my computer up on the screen. That photo is creepy as shit. What the fuck? And also, I don't hate the pineapple on the pizza. I'm eating it right now. It is certified great.
Low-key people who even got involved in this discourse about pineapple on pizza are so fucking boring.
I think also what we saw here though was something where Bill English's staff was like, we need to make this old white dude as relatable as possible, which honestly they didn't keep up for very long. There was
that
the pizza.
Walk run got me engaged. I don't know about you.
I do like to walk and run. That's because I'm unfit. So when I go for runs, I have to stop and walk, not because it's like some weird thing that Bill English does. Hey, speaking of voting though, we're going to have some first-time voters come up on the couch and talk to us. They would like to come up now, and I'm just going to have a little nom 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 nom.
Hey guys!
Hey!
We are now joined by Hannah Ross, Riley, Lachlan, and Will Parsonson. How you going, guys? Don't drop
Does someone
baby
want to grab the
Tom.
mic?
Good.
Guys,
Please take care of Tom.
First-time voters, first time on stage, am I right?
Yeah.
Sorry guys, we're just eating. Just give me a minute.
Just wash it down. You're fine.
How are you guys tonight?
Good.
Nervous?
Sweet.
Yeah, that's actually what I want to start. So it's actually me and Jogai's first year voting.
Yeah.
Too. So hashtag relatable everybody. Hannah, how did it feel voting for the first time? Because I remember you telling me the other day that last election you missed out only by a couple of months, right?
2 months.
2 months.
So it was good. It's like this year, it's just real strange because not being old enough to vote actually, you just are completely blind to everything.
Yeah.
Well, I was anyway. I remember because I was only 2 months out. A lot of my friends were voting, but I never talked to them about politics or anything in 2014 when the last election happened. But this year, because I was old enough, I've been so involved, and it made voting so cool because I was like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, do you think that's a thing that because it's your first time, you were so much more excited and, sort of willing to read about the different parties?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
So you were more engaged with that. What about you, Riley?
Yeah, same sort of thing. I feel like when you're not old enough, you can say, oh, this doesn't really, I can't really do anything about it, and so you pay attention to the news, I guess, but you're never really turned on. And then this year I was really need to read the news like pay attention, like scrolling through Twitter all the time, trying to work out what everyone's like saying, getting mad at Matthew Hooton, you know, all the standards.
One thing I wanted to ask, because I think this is a discourse that that comes up a lot when people talk about youth voting, is that people say that if you've got younger candidates, you're more likely to get younger people engaged. I mean, has that been reflective of how you felt about voting this year, Lachlan? Do you think that's give me my mic. There you go. Do you think that's accurate, that if you have younger politicians, you're more likely to get youth more excited about politics?
Well, I guess I'm trying to think of the young politicians.
Well,
pretty
Chloe
much like
Swarbrick,
Chloe and
for some reason David Seymour got put in a young politicians debate. I just want to actually take this chance to note in the next hour or so I will be reviewing, so I don't know what camera I'm at, Seymour's book that I read in half an hour, so that really tells you something about it. Anyway, back to youth voting. Will, what about you?
What about me?
What do you think about
young candidates? Do they make you more engaged with the current political state?
I mean, it's important. Like, it's important to have a person that represents your group, but I feel like a lot of people might be swayed by that, but I feel like a lot of people, politically minded people, might not take that into account as well and think about policies more so than the person.
Do you think it could almost even have the opposite effect, where it's like, because it's a young person, you almost don't trust?
Well, I don't know, it's just so dependent on the voter as well. And I feel like for a lot of people, like I say, it means a lot, and for some people it just doesn't mean anything. It's just another person presenting a party's policy and a party's presence, ideas.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, it's interesting because it's good to obviously see yourself represented, right?
Yeah.
It's good to see a familiar face.
It is interesting.
Okay. All right. Hugh just told
though.
me off that I've got pizza in front of my
Sorry,
face.
just had a little good because Hugh told
And I
Jogai.
realised I was just eating straight into the mic as well. So
sorry, Hannah, what were you
that's
saying?
done.
Oh, just like how parties play on the young candidates. Like I've noticed with Chloe, the Green Party have used her so much in the social media world.
The Green Party?
And that's like,
to the extent of being like a poster girl for the...
Yeah, like definitely. Like she comes up on my Instagram and like the sponsors.
In the targeted advertising.
And it's like, like she has been made to target us.
That's also
because she's
interesting with the Green Party and Chloe as well, is because the Green Party has a lot of younger candidates. I think, you know, they probably have some of the youngest candidates, the highest majority of youngest people standing then out of all the parties this year. And it's also really interesting because Chloe, when she first, I remember I did an interview with her about it, she sort of was rejecting the idea that she was just a young politician, and I think you sort of start to see that now, is that younger politicians are rejecting the fact that they get this attention or they get, you know, this thing just because they're young and, you know, they come on.
Because when she was first coming up last year for the local body election, the entire rhetoric
age
around
was
her was
mentioned.
like Chloe Swarbrick, brackets 22.
Yeah, 22, OMG.
For me, it's almost like offensive. They're assuming that we're only going to vote for someone because they are our age, or we're like, oh, they probably play video games or something. Like, I know, it's like this weird assumption.
Yeah,
it's this weird assumption that doesn't...
Very honest. I don't know.
No, but there's like, what I'm saying is that sort of like the rhetoric around it is like, oh, kids like other young people, and it's like that one assumption, just like based on that one assumption that we're going to vote for those people, and I feel like it's ridiculous to make those assumptions.
Someone called Sam Carey just said Will Parsonson is daddy AF.
Oh god.
Cheers, Sam.
What I wanted to ask was, did you feel nervous when you went into the voting booth for the first time? Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. I was just like scared that, I don't know, like
Did you
I would just like tick the wrong box.
Yes,
so scared.
I was hoping you would say that, because that's exactly how I felt.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like my mom like doesn't really know English. Like I feel like past time she's voted, she's like needed to have help, and like she was like she wanted to vote Labour, but she just like didn't read it right. She voted Green, which is like same shit. But, like,
Yeah, but it's quite funny as well because you get given like the little orange highlighter as like a colouring in book or something.
I didn't even think about it that way. Do you think, Riley, I want to ask you, do you think that maybe the Electoral Commission could change the way that they target... I mean, because as we said just a while back, you know, this voter turnout in 2017, the youth voter turnout has been lower than it was in 2014. I mean, do you think that maybe the Electoral Commission or parties could do more to to get more young people engaged in voting, or maybe change? Maybe the orange man needs to be retired. I kind of like him. I think he's fun.
Do not dog the orange man.
I don't mind the orange man. I think the Electoral Commission seems to be doing like a pretty good job. Like there's a there were polling booths at Auckland Uni and AUT, and they were like very well utilised. On Friday I was here, and it was like there were lines like out the door, down the stairs, all the way past all the cafes and stuff. I think the reason that young people don't vote is that like very few parties are good at saying, here's what we're doing that is like for what young people care about, and they're like, here's like why you should vote for us. Like, and the issues that young people care about are often like underserved.
Yeah.
And like particularly by the major parties, because they feel like they have to.
It's almost like that they shove at you all these young politicians, but not really any good policy, or I mean, arguable. Labor had their free tertiary education. The Greens came out with that the public transport off-peak pub free.
That's right.
Is it free or cheaper?
Free.
Don't know. I should have done my research. Never mind. Too late now.
I think it's mad that people over 65 get free public transport, but students don't.
Yeah,
already.
it is interesting.
It doesn't make any sense.
Hey, does anyone have any final last comments about their first time voting? You all glad you did it?
Yeah.
How did it make you feel going down? And because I think you had like a video of Hunter or something, and he was like, he was very like cheery about it.
It was great for me because the line took forever, so I just got to listen to Jordan Rakai's new album, just listen the whole way through.
Awesome. Because when I went to vote, the people in front of me were like young act, and they're like fully suited up, and they're really very proud. And
I guess why do the left wear suits?
It's a good question, Pearl. I think we'll leave it to.
We'll come back. I bet I'll have an answer after 11 o'clock. Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks, Pearl. See you later.
Cool. I think we have someone on Skype. We have Leonie Pihama, who we are going to talk to at our second. What? No.
Lucy and Ruben.
Sorry, we have Lucy and Ruben.
From the Labour Party. Hey. Oh, hey, Ruben.
Look at you.
How's it going?
How is it over there?
Well, I'd call the mood cautiously excited. And earlier festivities, but now things are getting slightly more serious, I think. Plus the bar tabs run out.
Oh no! Look, please, hey, just want to say, responsible drinking. Please be safe at these parties. So, do you think the mood has kind of shifted from when we spoke to Lucy earlier, especially with these preliminary counts having Labor almost 10 points under National? Do you think that shifted the mood a bit?
Yeah, I would say so. Plus, as I said before, the bar tab has run out, so people are having to spend their own money on it.
Hey.
But yeah.
Hey, how's the food? Because we spoke to the two Connors before, and the food at the ACT party looked pretty great. So how's the food over at Labor?
Well, you know what? I actually haven't spotted any food at all.
Oh, that's really poor.
Wow, that is writing no
food at Labor.
Labor. Terrible. All right, hey, thanks, Ruben. Enjoy yourself. Please be safe.
All right.
We will catch up with you again very soon.
All right. See you later.
All right. See you later.
Hey, we were going to play a game, but Mikey Havoc's not here. I'm just going to put the moustache back on Gareth properly.
All right. Where is Mikey Havoc?
Can't answer that, sorry.
Okay, that's all good.
Right. So
Y host?
Huh?
Y host?
Yeah, can we get the wire guys back up for a little brief...
guys. Get on up, just for a little bit of a chat.
Why?
God.
Hey. God, they've all dispersed, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm not all the wire hosts.
Mac, you can come up as well, just for banter. Come on up. Come on up.
Okay.
Come on, Mac.
Hi, Mac.
Mac, do you have any numbers updates for us?
I do, but I mean, don't we want to wait till...
No, tell us now.
nine?
Just tell me now. Tell me now. Tell me now. Tell me now.
All right.
Tell me now.
All right.
What's going on? Oh, look, here's Harry. You can come on, Harry. Oh, look, here they are.
Oh, the full
We've got
guys.
even less space.
Guys.
Hi.
I feel like a teacher. It's weird.
We need to sit with our arms.
Please sit with your legs crossed and your arms folded. Sorry,
All
Mac.
right. So we're
Numbers
at
update.
36.2%.
Counted?
Yeah. So fair bit. Still looking identical. 46 for National, up 10 on Labor. And New Zealand First still hovering around 7, Greens around 6. Looking grim for any other party, really. So But as far as how this would work for Winston Peters, since he seems to be the one that Labour would need if they were to form a coalition government, we put this to our listeners, to our viewers on a Twitter poll. And 44% think Winston would go with Labour and 56% with National. So I think that's.
Doesn't he hate National?
That's as
Sorry,
analytical
this isn't a real poll.
and decisive.
Sorry, it's not a real poll. I just need to remind myself of that.
It's definitely a real poll.
Okay.
We've also been talking about the role of special votes tonight, and remember, we won't hear about those. We hear back from those results for another 2 weeks, and Labour in particular seems to be banking on them.
God.
But we've got 80% of them now have been counted, and already it's looking like there could be more than double what 2014 had, so around 200,000 votes. So it's looking more and more likely that those are really going to be a bit of a game changer.
For anyone in particular?
For who, we don't know yet.
Right.
But yeah, it's still kind of reflecting national favour. But yeah, that's the overall advance votes. We won't know the breakdown of the special votes for another 2 weeks. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Wire host, I know we got you on stage, but you're just going to have to sit here for a bit because on Skype we have Leonie Pihama, who is going to talk, our second commentator for the night. Have we got it?
Yeah.
Cool. Hello.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Hi there. How are you? How are you feeling about tonight?
Oh, good. How are you all?
We're well, thank you. Feeling a little bit tense, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Still early, we never know.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
I was interested in that conversation about the special votes. I think that they could, have an impact this time round. But, we're less than 40% of the vote from what I can see counted, so we've got a little way to go.
Definitely. Hey, I wanted to ask, do you think there is there were any Māori issues missing from the discourses in terms of the discussions and the debates during this election?
Well, not in the Māori seats. I think Māori issues were very clear in the Māori seats, but I definitely think in the general, in the general seats, there was a real scarcity of engagement with Māori issues, both in terms of direct Māori issues around things like the treaty, treaty relationships. Te Reo Māori in schools was a big, a big discussion point in the Māori seats and really didn't feature very much, in most of the debates. But I think also, the broader issues of climate change, which is, really significant for iwi. So I think, there was a real limitation in terms of the debates generally, I think.
Definitely. Hey, I also want to ask, what have your thoughts been on the last 6-7 months, just sort of generally?
Around which issue?
Around the
just
campaign.
The general election and all the campaigns that the parties have been doing.
Well, I think that with what happened with Matidia was a real turning point, and when we're looking at the moment in terms of the party vote with National leading at the moment by about 10%, I think we have some really significant issues in this country around what we determine to be caring for people. And I think that really exploded with the issue around Matidia and the way in which, the kind of dominant media, i.e. TV1 and 3, primarily, covered that issue. I think it really showed a mean-spiritedness in this country around people who live in poverty and around those that need support in terms of welfare support to live and survive, and in terms of homelessness, those issues. I think that we have really some really significant issues in Aotearoa at the moment around that kind of neoliberal capitalist framework dominating, and ideas of profit and money in the economy dominating over things that used to be a key priority, which was around caring for people, ensuring people were well cared for, that children had food, that people had homes, the fundamental living in this country. And so I think that if we go back to more of the same of what we've had in the last 9 years, I think we're going to have some really major issues, and they'll start to show an increased social issues.
And what are your thoughts regarding the issues many Māori faced at the voting polls? Some people are saying they were being misled.
Well, I saw the press release from Veronica Tawhai and from Te Atakura, the group that do a lot of kind of watching around the polls, and there are some real concerns around the lack of knowledge of some volunteers in particular polls. There seem to be some issues around some of the polls opening a bit later. I know in Porirua there are a number, and we're talking about a high, there's a high Māori and Pacific area. And so people arriving at the polls and not being opened, people being given misinformation around whether they can, be on the Māori roll if they're enrolling, what kind of, vote they can do in terms of party votes. I think prior to that there were misconceptions and misinformation around who people on general rolls could party vote for in terms of Māori Party. I think that we do, there are some issues that are going to come up, I think, after this election around people's ability to people getting misinformation and not receiving the kind of information they need to make, informed votes. I mean, I think there are some other issues that seem to be being raised around, in general social media with, second language speakers of English being basically just told to tick the box they like rather than be given the right information in terms of this translation. And that's really concerning because we have a lot of second language learners in this country. And if the only ability is to vote in English, then we need to think about some kind of translation, provision so that can vote the way that they actually want to vote.
Definitely. And I guess just lastly, do you have any predictions you want to leave us with for tonight?
My predictions seem to have gone out the window already with the some of the Māori seats. I would hope that the gap would close. It's kind of hard to know because you don't really know which booths have come in the different areas. I think that Waiariki and Tai Hauauru for the Māori seats are still far too close to count. I would have liked to have seen the Greens go harder on Tai Tonga, because I think that if they had, I think Matiria could have come in, and that would have been, a kind of major Māori voice back to what happened to her. My heart wants to say the left wing is going to come through, but for some reason it's not looking particularly good. And someone who works in a university, and I think for students, this another national government is not going to bode well for students. I think that there are some opportunities in the Green Labour coalition, if that came through, for students to get at least some relief in terms of fees. And I look at these ones that are in Parliament now, many of that kind of older generation who went through university with no fees, and with no student loans, and they just continue to really create situations that make it very difficult for kind of middle to working class and Māori and Pacific young people to be able to enter into university, which we know is a major change factor for people in terms of their futures. So I'm concerned that maybe we didn't mobilise the student and the youth vote as much as should have been.
Yeah, and let's actually talk about New Zealand operating under national government for the past 9 years in terms of Māori affairs. Obviously, Māori kind of dominate and are overrepresented in all of the wrong areas. They dominate the incarceration rates. What do you think there's any particular party that's kind of addressing this for this general election, if anyone?
Well, I think that, definitely the Green Party, I think their policies are much more aligned to the kind of things we want to see, which is, greater access to education, which, looking at incarceration and ways of reducing imprisonisation. So, decriminalisation of marijuana, as well as looking at other ways of dealing with issues rather than locking people up. Institutional racism, the issues around the removal of children, the state inquiry into abuse, homelessness, poverty. I think that if we'd seen a kind of Labour Greens Māori Party coalition, I think we might have seen quite a good change or quite significant change in those social service issues. With National, if we continue in the kind of their social investment, which is basically not a social investment, it's an economic investment model, if we continue down that track, I think things are going to get worse.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, that's all we have time for tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kia ora.
Bye.
Cool.
Hey, lads. Hi. Hey, lads. Doing good, right?
Fantastic segue.
We are talking about. We have our wire host. Sorry, guys, I just got distracted. We have our wire host back. Familiar faces, you know them all now. I'm not going to give them introductions. So, week 4, you looked at health.
Sure did.
Sure did. Do you want to start us off, Joel?
Yeah, I talked to James Shaw, as usual, from the Green Party, and he's of the belief that our mental health and health systems are failing dramatically, which is sort of in line with statistics. Like, we have a record high suicide rate at the moment.
Yeah.
It's obscene, really. And so he believes that National's additions to mental health care isn't addressing systematic issues that it needs to address, and he sort of feels like they're spending money on a broken system. So what needs to happen is there needs to be sort of an inquiry into why the system isn't working, rather than just like constantly putting money into it. And he even went as far as saying this funding was an election gimmick, which is quite an interesting point of view on that. He also believes more resources need to be put into supporting Māori and Pacific communities in terms of mental health, because Māori and Pacific youth are actually 2 to 3 times more likely to commit suicide than Pākehā youth. So he thinks that one really strong way to address that is to give their communities the sort of help that they need, rather than to make everyone go through the same system, which clearly doesn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah, also I want to ask, did you speak to the Greens before their mental health policy was announced? Because I think in the timeline they announced that policy, which was their massive policy, which was free counselling, as I understand it, for under 25. So I guess that's sort of, I think, well, from what I could see, that was sort of the most radical.
I think we actually spoke like just before that was announced.
Yeah, like probably like
an hour.
Before. Knowing our timing, it was probably like the morning of the afternoon that was announced.
Like literally that.
So unfortunate. Did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, just quickly, he wants to. He thinks that drug use is a health issue rather than an issue in crime, and we have such high crime rates for drug use and like very little support for helping addiction. So he wants to sort of legalize drugs and really like tax it, so that money can go towards helping people who are addicted rather than just putting them in jail. Yeah,
definitely. Harry, Labour.
Yeah, Calvin Davis definitely had a very similar a perspective on health in New Zealand. There was the News Hub Red research poll which said that health was the #1 issue for New Zealanders, and we put that to like a poll on Twitter, and most people were coming back saying, yeah, mental health. And Labour has actually promised within the first 100 days to put a review into mental health systems. Calvin Davis used an example of Jacinda Ardern's grandfather being released from Dunedin Hospital. Early, because there was not enough beds for him, as a prime example of how desperately underfunded sort of regional DHBs are under the national government. Labour are basically promising that 10% reduction in GP fees. They want to get the GPs right down to get it a little bit more accessible for people. So they're getting half of adults less than $8 to go to a GP with this sort of community card. For teenagers, it's going to be between 14 and 18 years old, $2, and under 13, free. So that's pretty cool. Also, Jacinda Ardern went on in the Leaders' Debate. She announced that Labour would look into decriminalising abortion. Which is cool. Something that Bill English failed to agree on. He said that he thinks the current system is working, which it isn't. Yeah.
Because what are the current ways that you can legally get an abortion? It's like if your mental health is in jeopardy, or if... I'm
not actually entirely sure.
I think it's like 2 doctors potentially have to sign. Yeah, to say, and I think that's like 90, maybe like 8% of abortions go through that way.
Right.
Yeah, so Jacinda was very clear that that's it needs to be made not a criminal offence.
Yeah, and that's priority for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Joel? Oh no. India?
So Mac interviewed Marama for this week, and the Māori Party wants to reform the health system so it better addresses Māori overrepresentation in suicide statistics, and they're kind of similar to the Opportunities Party in their sort of approach to alcohol and tobacco, and want to kind of regulate it a bit more, and also want to push e-cigarettes to help prevent a lot of diseases. And they want to take steps to legalize medicinal marijuana, and wants to have a conversation before any further steps are taken. And Max also added that despite a deal with the Mana Party, the Māori Party has distanced itself from Hone Harawera's calls to execute drug dealers.
Oh God, I forgot he said that. Jesus
I know,
Christ.
there's just so many things. I know, I read that, I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's something else I just saw that Hone
Exactly.
Harawera said, which was something, it ain't over till Paula Bennett sings, which is a quote from him from tonight, and I have no context as to what that's about. But that's another quote.
Didn't know
Hone.
Paula Bennett was a singer, but here we are.
No, did you not see that video of her singing Natural Woman?
Oh my God,
on
the
bus.
Jeez.
Oh God.
My favourite.
It's fantastic. Relatable.
Opportunities Party?
So they say, so I guess it's quite different than the Greens. They say that our health system is world class and it's good, and there are a lot of people in it who are working really hard. But there's a huge demand that we have with an ageing population, and they also have quite a focus on people need to take better care of themselves, rather than become
sort of a personal responsibility.
Yeah,
angle.
he was pretty strong on that. Yeah, which I found interesting.
Joel's face. Joel, not
He
impressed.
said, okay, I have a quote from here from him,
Kelly.
and it was like, he literally said, people basically said people need to take better care of themselves and stop being a burden on our health system.
What the fuck? Seriously?
Hit some fire. No, yeah, for
Like,
sure.
why would you believe that? Like if suicide rates are this high and people aren't getting the support that they want.
So for mental health, I'll separate that. So for mental health, they do want to fund mental health a lot more.
Yeah.
So he was more meaning with things like healthy eating and things like that.
Still though,
so
that's a poverty-driven issue.
Around this is really interesting because they want to. So we can go. I think we've got mental health at the end, but we'll go back to that. But they want to help people improve their diets. They want to increase the price of unhealthy foods, which is like interesting to me because I'm like, people choose those foods because they're cheaper. So it's not really helping, it's just kind of going to make it seems like the food budgets would end up being blown even more. It's like you don't necessarily choose, you choose, like when they do those comparisons of how much you can get for $20 and you can get a bit of chicken and a bag of salad, or you can get like a trolley full of unhealthy food. So they also, so they want to, if it worked, it would be cool because they want to then reinvest the money that they get from that back into subsidising healthier food.
Right.
And so, I don't know, it's kind of not really making the cost of living easier. I guess with the UBI and things like that, it kind of all goes hand in hand. But I don't know, it's an interesting approach.
It is, yeah.
And then they also want to raise the drinking age, so you can drink in a bar. And you can drink in a bar when you're 18 or 19.
Didn't hear about this. Not a fan.
You can't. But you can't purchase like at an off license until you're 20.
What was the reasoning?
Because I think it's like the younger you can purchase off license, then it also leads to people buying for even younger people that they know. And also he kind of sees alcohol as being the biggest contributor of health issues in the country, like more so than drugs. Like they want to decriminalise or legalise cannabis, and they also want to raise the price of cheap alcohol. They think that RTDs and beer are often too cheap, and that price, the tax hasn't been raised on that for a really long time, and that money can go into mental health and drug and alcohol treatment. And he wants a review of the mental health system, and also a big investment in prevention and stopping. He said he wants to stop people going into the mental health system, which I hope he doesn't mean like, just kind of
getting help.
I think maybe, I probably could have asked him some more questions about that.
Hindsight,
to be honest,
2020.
Yeah. Because listening back, I was like, that could mean two very different things. So.
Kelly, lastly, Jamie Lee, National, what they have to say.
So pretty much I said to him, there's like 11 countries that the Commonwealth Fund monitors, which is sort of top economy countries, and we rank the lowest for health spending. So, and we're like the cheapest country per capita there in those 11 countries. So I pretty much said to him, why is this? And he said, since National's been in government, they have increased health spending by 45%. So it was, I think, 11 billion and now is 16 billion. I think he kind of spitted out those numbers. Maybe still it's not enough, especially in terms of mental health, which was obviously a big issue this election. I said to him, what are you guys planning on doing if you're re-elected? They've got 17 new initiatives. They're wanting to put more money into schools, etc. $100 million for those 17 new initiatives. He stressed to me that wasn't full mental health spending, that was just introduced mental health spending if they're re-elected. Right. But like Joe was saying, highest rate of suicide, mental disorders are the third leading cause of health loss in New Zealand at the moment. So $100 million is nowhere near enough. It's a joke. In fact, mediocre. It's just, I got so annoyed. Because I think that's mental health for everybody is like a huge issue right now. It's for sure. It's rife, especially obviously for uni students. That goes back to like tertiary education funding. They have no idea what it's like to go through with these huge loans. It's just so sure. I guess it's sort of that generational translation that is just sort of, I don't know, there's some sort of block there. When I said to him about those people in poverty and how we need to help health spending there, he said, well, refer to our family income package and they're going to have more money in their pockets to spend on health services, which sort of cyclical. But he did say we will see, if they're re-elected, we'll see a health budget increase every year, so we'll be checking on that if they are. And also the free GP for under 13-year-olds is sort of their big preventative measure, in terms of making sure people aren't just going straight to the ED, and that's costing a lot of taxpayer dollar.
Of course. Cool.
Sorry.
All right, thanks to our host. We're going to have a short ad break and we will be back very shortly.
With the two Connors and lukewarm takes.
Great.
Stay tuned.
95 BFM have teamed up with Be Employed to offer a 16-week paid internship for somebody with access needs. You'll be able to gain impressive experience in production, sales, journalism, and all kinds of other good stuff here at BFM. Access needs cover everything from mobility to mental health to a hearing or vision impairment. So head to beaccessible.org.nz and click on Be Employed to find out more and to apply for this or other exciting internship opportunities. Eligibility criteria apply.
After discovering Toothcrush, Eve felt almost content.
Almost? No.
But across the kingdom, she saw children everywhere suffering with huge toothbrushes advertising posable figurines.
My little white teeth. It's unethical and tacky. Golly, help!
So Eve went to toothcrush.co.nz and ordered them all Toothcrush's new children's brushes. Small, with funky bristle patterns, they're still sustainable and delivered monthly.
Goodbye, guilty conscience. Hello, Toothcrush.
Laneway 2018 has it all. Sun, shade, grass, old statues, and the best bands in the world. With the likes of Slowdive, Conan Moccasin, The Internet, and Aldous Harding. You don't want to miss out. Buy your tickets now for St Jerome's Laneway Festival 2018. Auckland Anniversary Day, January 29th at the lush and lovely Albert Park Precinct. For tickets and more information, go to lanewayfestival.com.
The beauty of the fleeting and the ephemeral is so 20th century. BFM's best shows, features, and interviews are now available as podcasts on RSS and Apple. Yours to cherish forever.
Welcome to 95 BFM Top 10. You're with Pearl.
Fashion.
Turn to the left.
On Land of the Good Groove. Got lined up 3 songs. Yo, welcome back. It's True School.
Rewire.
I don't know.
Well, you're kind of a mellow beginning to the journey.
Welcome to the Saturday 2 to 4. My name is Sarah. I will be...
Greetings and welcome. This is the Rhythm Selection and it's just gone.
Never miss out again. B-Casts, available now on Apple Podcasts or RSS for whatever podcatcher you're into.
It's music. We played it first. Swim to me. 95 BFM, the original originator. Broadcast to the world and podcast to your device on 95bfm.com.
Sweet, I believe we are back, and now we're going to be crossing live to Connor Squared, who are now at the National Party.
Doesn't that mean there'll be 4 of them?
I don't fucking know. I think I failed NCA maths.
Hi, sorry guys. How is it?
I'm sure you were great at NCA maths. Don't put yourself down like that. But we are here at the National Convention. The mood has lifted. We just had a big cheer. I've seen Jerry Brownlee's killing it in Ireland. Absolutely. The old woodwork teacher from Lincoln High School. Connor, why don't you give everyone what's happening?
In terms of tight electorates at the moment, I thought I'd start off with the electorate we're actually standing geographically in at the moment, which is the Auckland Central electorate, same with you guys over there. Nikki Kay is ahead by with 3,300 odd votes, with Helen White from Labour trailing behind at about just under 2,800 votes. That's 33.8% counted, so still everything to play for. We've just had an announcement on the big screen at the Young Nats convention here saying that the Nats are predicted to have about 59. They've got about 59 seats before they hit the majority, with Labour and the Greens and New Zealand First at 60 seats. Now, if we include the ACT Party with National 2, that means they're level peggings at 60 seats, just below the majority needed, 61 to form a government. But yeah, we're just past about 1/4 counted of the votes over the electorate, so everything to play for at the moment.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that political rundown.
Yeah, how are the canapes?
The canapes, I've spotted a couple of sliders in the distance, but no one's sharing around here. I can't figure out what it is.
But at the same time, we have found streamers. We found white ones. We found blue ones.
That's all that's allowed around
here. Those are the colours, yeah.
We have got a couple of young Nats here that want to give their opinions on what's happening in the political election tonight.
Yeah.
Connor Mercer is definitely a faggot, I'd have to agree.
Alright, so I'm going to take that off the screen now.
Yep.
And BFM. We're not about that. Right, we're about politics.
I didn't even hear what that was.
I think he said a not good word. Hey,
insulting to a lot of people out there.
Again, boys, don't get too drunk. Connor Mercer, have some canapes for me. Tell me how they are, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
Cheers, boys.
Lukewarm takes?
Lukewarm takes.
Lukewarm
right.
takes. All right, here we
I
go.
just saw a tweet, and it's a shame that the 2 Connors weren't still at the ACT party, because apparently it is Vape Nation at the ACT party.
Reuben. Like, that's more
We should have seen them there. They love that stuff.
Yeah.
What other lukewarm
I've
takes
just
you got?
seen one from Real New Zealand Election, which is the handle. Just met my neighbour who is a drunk Wilson from Home Improvement. He probably voted Greens. Seen another one from Jazz Thornton. But did you really vote if you didn't upload a photo with your sticker to all forms of social media? Laughing face, cry laughing face, hashtag election 2017.
That's a late lukewarm take.
This is a fucking funny one. The loser of the night is Jack Tame, hashtag nowhere to be seen.
Where's Jack? Where's Jack Tame?
I don't know.
Where is Jack Tame? Hey,
it's your territory.
Before we just cross over to Caitlin at the Greens, I've got one more last lukewarm take from Guy Williams, who tweeted, "Okay, I'm coming clean. I got into the voting booth and I panicked and ticked Band 1080 and Penny Bright." Hugh just told me off for reading out a Guy Williams tweet. We're making fun of it. Anyway, let's cross over to Caitlin at the Greens now. Hello, Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hello.
Caitlin definitely has my favourite background out of all the different parties. The church is bloody beautiful. Hey, how's the mood there?
It's pretty good, actually. There's lots of talking, lots of hanging out. Nobody really seems to be too upset by the fact that the Greens have actually lost a seat so far on the current polling. So it's still pretty happy.
Hey, how's the food been?
Very good. There was an antipasto platter. I quite liked the look of it, but then it disappeared before I got the olives. So pretty heartbreaking. It looks like the Connors are getting a lot of loot, and I miss the antipasto platter. So apart from that, I mean, the night's going fine.
I must say the Connors definitely have had the most success with the food out of everyone at the different
And these
parties.
are really the two most important questions we've been asking every live cross, which is how's the mood and how's the food?
Well, what else are you going to ask? Come on,
Exactly.
think of something else.
No, I don't have anything. I don't have anything.
Do you have anything else you want to add, Caitlin?
No, just I don't know. Half the votes counted, so I don't know that anybody's really calling anything yet. And the special votes have always been very important to the Greens. So I think last election they won a seat in their special votes. So they're probably holding up for that.
Cheers. All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
Caitlin.
Alrighty.
Get some antipasto platter for me. Honestly, if I could eat one of those for dinner every night, I would be a happy girl.
What is antipasto?
It's
Is that like cheese
cold
boards and
meats.
Okay.
Yeah, you know. I think we're actually about time for our last what the fuck moment.
Oh, okay.
Which
Fantastic.
is Peter Dunn stepping down to make way for
Damien
I'll
Light.
let you explain one time.
Yeah, let's get straight into it. So, the United Future leader announced he was done with NZ poll, stepping down from his pivotal role just weeks out from the general election and facilitating every media hack's wet dream with a pun sent straight from above. This move paved the way for Ryan Gosling 2.0 to make waves in the political scene, causing thirst levels to rise with the party's website even crashing on the night of One News's minor parties debate. Despite proving itself a virtual non-entity in some incredibly explosive, volatile, game-changing polls.
Oh, I didn't realise I was bloody hosting with Patrick Gower. All right.
New leader Damien Light persevered, inspired by old mate Peter's turn of the worm in 2002, to keep reminding people that yes, United Future does in fact still exist.
Well, that was like, I was shocked that the Conservative Party was still getting votes.
Yeah, what
I
are
didn't
they
even know.
beyond Colin Craig and his sex?
Gross.
Okay.
I'm sorry I brought that up. That was technically my fault for bringing that up. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say that I think that United Future, well, actually, I had two predictions at the start of this night, if we go back to 2.5 hours ago, was that David Seymour would be out the game, which I think I've already started to be proven wrong with, and also my second prediction was that United Future would not get another seat in Parliament. I'm looking at it now. I can't find it because United Future, they've got 927 votes. So it's nice to be right, I guess.
Yep. At the end of the day, it's all you wanted, isn't it?
We're going to have Mac on to give us an update on some numbers very soon, but I thought maybe we'd take some time now to review Own Your Future. This is David Seymour's seminal classic, recently published. So we got given, it was very surprising that they gave us something. The ACT Party wouldn't really expect that for them. A free copy of Own Your Future. Now, I've read this. Jogai, you haven't.
I have not, no.
I will give you the lowdown. I managed to read, I just want to see can I get back to that shot of the book? The font is huge. It's literally like size 14 font. It's like he was couldn't fit his essay, so he just tried to really smash it out and get to that word count.
Size 14 times New Roman or something.
Yeah,
it's
is
massive.
it? What's the font? I don't know my fonts. But what I thought this was, and it was a very misleading cover, I'm going to put that out there, was that it was a book about David Seymour's life. It was not. It is not. There are anecdotes here and there, but other than that, it is what he is calling a liberal vision for New Zealand 2017. Basically what it is that it's an ACT Party manifesto with this smug dolphin smiling on the front. I just wanted to read a couple of lines that were sort of really sprung out to me. One was that, here we go. He had this weird quip about his brother that I just really didn't understand. Talking about his family, he said that his parents sent him far away to a good boarding school, and that this choice paid off for my brothers though. One became an engineer at the country's largest construction firm. The other researches things at Otago. They are to do with the pharmacology, but after years of knowingly nodding, we're all too scared to ask exactly what. I became a politician, end paragraph. It's kind of David Seymour admitting that he has no idea what his brother does in life. He also makes a now I've been trying to work out who this is for a very long time. He talks about this kid who got bullied at his school and then goes on to say that this kid left the school, he flourished at a new school, then as a journalist, and he then is a successful executive. He should have had more school choice earlier. If anyone knows who that is or thinks they know who David Seymour is talking about, I would love to know. So this book is basically an ACT Party thing. He makes claims that this weird thing, the thing about it is that he's creating a lot of metaphors that don't actually make very much sense. Nothing is really very well thought out. He makes this weird comparison that some people think that making a transaction commercial makes everyone involved more suspicious and less cooperative and friendly. The opposite is also true. Now this is where it gets a bit weird. There's no need to be suspicious if someone wants to give you a lift for free. There's every reason to be suspicious if Hannibal Lecter offers to give you a lift for free. I have no idea
That's how you know it's
what
not
that
ghostwritten,
means
'cause it says
or
shit like
where
that.
it comes from. That's what someone said, did someone ghostwrite this? And I said, no, it's so fucking badly written that if someone ghostwrote this, I would want a fucking refund. Is how I feel about that. And just the last one, this is one of my favourite lines. Talking about cannabis law reform, Seymour says, around half of adult New Zealanders have tried cannabis. Some of them, of course, have more than just tried it. They've taken to it like ducks to water. That's probably the best line in the entire book. And with
Didn't
that,
you say there was one where he was like, I was going to do it, but I didn't want to disappoint my parents?
Oh yeah, he talks about in sixth form when all the, I don't know why it was relevant that they were rich, but he talks about in sixth form that all the rich kids from school would sneak off to smoke cannabis, but he didn't do it because he didn't want to disappoint his parents. I've also just found this other one while we're on the topic of substances. It's said that alcohol brings out the worst in some people. Those people are the government and the police, apparently. I just have no idea what he means by that. So, you know, if you really hate badly written
just invited himself
liberal...
on. Look at it. Didn't even have to call him off.
If you really hate badly written liberal, if you want your own copy of a liberal manifesto, go out and get yourself a copy of Own Your Own Future. Thanks for that, David. We're going to go back to a short ad break.
Yeah, thanks for coming though, Matt.
Then, Matt, you're going to have to wait a bit. Because we've got an ad break.
I'm comfortable here.
And then we'll be back with some numbers. Thank you.
Kia ora, BFM, Sam speaking.
Yeah, g'day, Dave. Hey, I want to advertise my bar on B.
Great. So tell me about it. What do you want to say?
Right. The Jitties is a fucking decent bar. Like, it's got this shit hot window. I mean, this window is... Like, I'm looking out of it now, and I can barely believe it. This window is truly the tits, yeah?
Cool. Window. Got it. Anything else?
For live music, reasonable prices, no door charge, and a bloody lovely window, Legitties, St. Kevin's Arcade.
After discovering Toothcrush, Eve felt almost content.
Almost? No.
But across the kingdom, she saw children everywhere suffering with huge toothbrushes advertising posable figurines.
Wait, Dave. It's unethical and tacky.
Golly, help! So Eve went to toothcrush.co.nz and ordered them all Toothcrush's new children's brushes. Small, with funky bristle patterns, they're still sustainable and delivered monthly.
Goodbye, guilty conscience. Hello, Toothcrush.
I tried your date advice about moving the conversation a little more, sexual.
What did you say?
We had these burgers with avocado, so I said avocado comes from nahuatl, meaning testicle, because they look like nads.
Ooh.
Then they left. How are nads not sexy?
Inspiring the extraordinary, Burgerfield's new Nacho Libre. Nacho Average Burger. With 100% grilled free-range chicken breast, the smoothest cream corn, the crunchiest of corn chips, smashed avocado, melted cheddar, and spicy chipotle aioli. Burgerfield's Nacho Libre. For more information, go to burgerfield.com.
Hi, BH. It's me, Omnicord. Run your finger down my contact strip.
No, pick me, Stylophone. Complete my circuit.
Aww, it's my turn. The FL9 is here for all your deep flanging needs.
Whoa, settle down. Everybody gets a turn.
Some people really love gear. Get the musical equipment lowdown from the people with passion on tools of the trade every Tuesday only on 95 BFM Drive. Brought to you by Heat Pump Cleaning Specialists. For cleaner, warmer and healthier heat pumps, go to heatpumpclean.co.nz.
Welcome back. You are with 95 BFM for our election night special. Things are kind of heating up. I don't know, I just made that up. Let's ask Mac and see if they actually are. Hi, Mac. Ooh,
I would not. Well, things are heating up in
know.
a certain place, Rangitata in the South Island. And Andrew Falloon, the National MP, has got 89%. With almost 6,000 votes in the lead. So I mean, if that's not a bell ding.
Is that an electorate seat? Can I ring the bell?
Well, I don't know what standards you're bell dinging, but all right, we'll do that. I was thinking that would be a bell ding. I mean, this is 95
First
BFM.
one of the night.
But yeah, we're up to 64.5% of the votes, which is up a lot, wasn't it? Like at 30% last time I was here.
That's almost half.
It is. What?
Nothing.
Yeah, National still at 46, up 10 on Labour, and New Zealand First at 7.4, and Green Party at 5.9. So all pretty similar. And I know you've been doing some lukewarm takes, but with these figures, Bryce Edwards has come up with, I think, something of a hot take, in that he thinks that the Green Party is on a kind of trajectory to overtake New Zealand First.
Lukewarm take.
Which would is that lukewarm?
Is that a lukewarm or a hot take?
I mean, I don't know.
Hot take?
See, I feel uncomfortable treading out.
Wait, are we going to
into
speak to Bryce
the
Edwards
takes.
soon?
Yes,
it's a hot take. It's a hot take.
It's a hot take.
Oh, it's the hottest take that we've had
Hottest
all night. Thank you, Bryce.
So that would change up how coalitions worked, obviously. Now, going back to these kind of contentious seats, with Auckland Central, Nikki Kay is still ahead of Helen White, but still only just, and that's with 34% counted. David Seymour, I mean, he's got this one in the bag at this point, so I kind of got everyone's... I wasn't going to go that far, but I feel like I did get people's hopes up before with his slim lead, but now it looks like he's going to take that one. Northland, 30% counted, and Matt King is still up on Winston Peters, and Wairiki, 43% counted, and Tamati Coffee is still ahead of Te Ururo-Flavel, and the Māori Party still don't have 5%, obviously. In fact, they're not in the lead in any seats right now. They've got 2, Wairiki and Te Tai Hoauru, which they're only behind Labour by about 500 votes. So arguably they could kind of make those and then be sort of a kingmaker kind of thing, but Marama Fox is saying it looks like they could lose everything, which
oh my God.
does seem to be the case.
That is so dramatic.
And she's blaming Labour for that one. She said Labour shouldn't have stood in those electorates. They should have let them go to Māori Party MPs. But you know, it's too little, too late on that one, isn't it?
Sorry, I was making a note. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Too little, too late?
Yeah,
no,
I was just making a note.
Is that a lukewarm take for future reference? Okay.
I was just making a note to ask Bryce when we speak to him in the next hour about the Māori seats.
Excellent.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. See you again soon.
Well, we got some lukewarm takes. Hey, apparently Jacinda's man, Clark Gayford, is standing outside their house offering sausage sizzles to the media. Can we please get someone to go to Jacinda Ardern's house and get one of those sausages off Clark Gayford?
Yeah.
And bring it, don't eat it, bring it back for me. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't even know if these are hot takes anymore, but there's someone called Graham Farmer who said David Seymour has more electorate votes than ACT has party votes nationwide.
Hey, do you know what? Lukewarm take. That's MMP for you.
All right. Matt Nippert, I'm calling it early. It was an election of two halves, pre and post Jacinda, and politics was the winner on the day.
Hashtag deep. Or something.
Or something. We read a cut to David Slack.
Maybe I need to read some more Seymour.
All right.
Hey, Adam, do you know I need to read some more Seymour? I've got it open. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Let's see what we've got here. Oh yeah, this was a great one. We're still on substances. He said that cannabis laws lead more to serious consequences than people taking selfies of themselves with a cigarette next to a non-smoking sign. I don't really know what he was trying to get at with that one. Oh, I think we might have David Slack.
David Slack. David Slack. David
What?
Slack.
Hello.
Hey, David Slack.
Oh, look, there you are.
Can you see?
Hey.
Yes, we can. How are you?
Oh, I'm really happy because this is the kind of thing I live for.
Yeah, awesome.
Another 3 years of these. Hey, can you see any of this? I can't see you at all.
Can you not see us, Adam? One second.
No.
1 second. Hey, there's Mary Margaret, who is actually a member of
Ah,
the
sweet. There we go. Yep.
Can you
Got
see
you
us?
now.
We got us?
All right.
Technical
Yeah.
difficulties. Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Well, actually,
So, how are you feeling tonight?
we're on a deck in Grey Lynn, and
we're drinking
Michelle
wine
Court
'cause it
says we're
sucks.
fab.
Yes. Oh, we're fab.
Hey, come around here. Michelle says we're sad. And we are. And actually, I think the tweet of the night I've seen. Is any of this making sense, Pearl?
Yeah, it's making sense. Keep going, keep going.
Very good. Is, what do you have to do to get rid of this government?
Yeah, true that. Is that your general feeling for the night?
Yeah. I mean, you look at that number, it might come back a little once you get the special votes brought in. But at this rate, right now, they're sitting at 46%. You've got about 4% of votes are going to be wasted. So those votes get reallocated, and that brings them damn near to 50%. So, yes, they will have to do a deal probably with New Zealand First and not just ACT or Maori Party, because Maori Party probably won't have much. But actually, they're near as damn it to having it on their own. And how dispiriting is that if you thought maybe you'd like to have a change where a house was affordable for a young person, where the government wasn't just a handmaiden to the dairy industry and polluting the rivers, where the growth of the economy was predicated on something other than just having more immigrants that you don't pay infrastructure for. We've got 3 years ahead of us of just fucking things up more, frankly. Does any...
Oh no, say what you really think, David. Tell us the truth.
Don't hold back.
Hey, I want to ask though. What issues have you been the most concerned about over these past 6-7 months?
Housing front and centre. When a house costs $1 million in Auckland and the average income doesn't have a shit show in hell of servicing that, you don't have any prospect of young people having any kind of secure future. It's as simple as that. And until that gets fixed, everything else with the economy is just lopsided. And on top of that, you've got a preoccupation with the dairy industry that means they get a free pass. So you're contaminating the very environment that so many millions of people are now coming to visit. How well's that going to play out in the long run, do you reckon?
Hey, and also you just mentioned briefly before that the Māori Party, it doesn't look like they're going to have much of a future, and we just found out from our news team that Marama Fox had said that she blames Labour for this and that Labour should have let them have those seats. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Michelle Court says she's been drinking. Look, these are the guys who were prepared to prop up the National Party for the last 3 terms. How much sympathy are they expecting from the Labour Party, for heaven's sake?
And I guess we've already sort of been over this, but for the last time, what's your prediction for tonight? Are you feeling any sort of hope that maybe we'll see a change?
I think we got some yipping going on in the background. I think what we've got here is a Corbyn phenomenon, where you've got a very nice reinstatement of disenchantment of young people and active reactivation of the left, but not enough to make a change, because you've got a big chunk of the population have said, I'm making profits, untaxed profits, on capital gains on my property, and I don't want to see that put at risk, so I'm just going to vote for things to stay as they are. I don't care what happens to other people. I don't care that there are several 100,000 children in poverty, and I don't think that it is beyond belief when the Prime Minister suddenly discovers it a week before the election and says he's going to do something about it.
Plus, we anticipate
Here's Mary Margaret.
We anticipate a youth quake, but how can we expect that of young people when there's a government that arguably underfunds education, so we're not sufficiently taught how MMP works and how our vote is going to help? Of course young people aren't voting that much when an education system is failing them in that sense.
Definitely.
Wasn't like the whole thing of civics being compulsory in high school brought up, and then David Seymour was like, I don't see the
the classic Seymour.
Classic Seymour.
Hey, also I wanted to ask David, what do you think about the idea that maybe New Zealand is suffering from those sort of post-truth politics things again, with National getting away with that $11.7 billion whole lie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
no question about
Glad
it.
we came to that consensus.
There are. You had Bill English looking straight at the camera and straight at his challenger and saying, when she challenged him to say to her face that he believed it, that he did, when it was understood by the whole bloody country and certainly every reputable economist that it is made out of pure fantasy. It was bullshit. There will be no tax. There was proposed no tax increase. There was no hole, and the whole thing was predicated on the idea that all you have to do is smear about a party that they're not good economic managers, and it'll stick, because people aren't necessarily all that conversant in it, and they will buy bullshit that they kind of want to believe. That's the whole phenomenon of post-truth. It's offering bullshit to people who kind of want the bullshit to be true. And that's what's been working elsewhere in the world, and it sure as shit worked here this election.
Hey, that's all we have time for. Do you want to leave us with any final comments?
Let's hope those special votes are counting the hundreds of thousands.
All right, cheers, David.
Thank you
Have a great
very much.
night.
Guys,
cheers.
see ya.
All right, thank you. Shall we get Leonard out here actually to do haiku first, then we'll get the Wire host back on to talk about livability?
Elise?
Oh, no, we've got someone at a party, apparently. Wait,
right. Leonard, hang on.
We've got someone at a party.
Finally, okay, all right,
Practice
awesome.
reading haiku.
Okay.
Give me 2 minutes.
Awesome.
We got 2 minutes or something.
We've got 2 minutes till Elise.
No, Jogai. No. Sorry. Getting tired, guys. I'm getting stressed.
Jesus Christ, yeah. I'm getting really demoralised. I just don't know how to laugh anymore.
Oh, yes. Please.
This is our good friend Amanda.
Very shortly, thank you, Amanda is handing me a bowl, and what we have here is that we're going to play a game I already said very shortly, where you have to stick the name of a politician to your forehead, and we have to guess who everyone is. I think, oh wow, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, I like it.
Amanda, I don't think this guy's okay, we'll leave that. Wild card, there's a wild card in there. It's going to be great. I'm excited.
Okay.
Do you have headphones to use?
Oh, we need a fluff or something. Should I read more of David Seymour?
Yep. Always good pick.
Seymour, always the one you fall back on because everything else is shit. Oh, he did a whole Uber rant as well.
What do you say about Uber?
Oh, he was like kind of like a fan and was like basically like no one should like drive anymore and just like all share rides and stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Carpooling?
Basically.
Yeah.
It's called a bus.
Right.
You know? Or a train. Or just like public transport. So apparently I'm just getting word in the earphones that we've had 73% of the vote counted. I can get those up for you. Let's have a look at the whole. So this is what we're sitting on at the moment. National is at 46.5%, Labour coming in at 35.5%, New Zealand First at 7.4%. So we're really actually just not seeing much. I'm just going to refresh the page. I've got the wrong one. No, I actually thought I hadn't refreshed the page because these have hardly moved. The Green Party is at 5.9%, ACT at 0.5%, and other culminating to 4.3%. So we've got the Opportunities Party 2.2% and Māori Party at 1.1%. Internet Party have got 366. Internet Party were actually interesting this election because their leader, Susie Dawson, was literally in Russia.
Oh,
she was in Russia.
Where's Mac to talk about this? Because didn't he interview her and then there was the whole bugging thing?
Oh, I think we're getting a Skype. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. 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 I can't see you.
Hi boys, we've watched the results. Hey, you guys, do you want to say what you're thinking about the results so far?
Quite sad. Nervous. Things could change. Anxious.
Yeah, hoping things are going to improve. I mean, what do you think about the results so far?
Crossing right now to the karaoke election party at the basement. It looks like it's quite. Hello. Oh, are they still there? Hello, Elise. Elsie. Sorry, I've received this. Hi. Hey, you look nice. Can she hear me?
I cannot see her, so I don't know what you're going on.
I saw her. I got a glimpse. Elsie, how's the party?
What's up, Elsie? Okay.
Alrighty then. She looked like she was having a good time, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, can we have Leonard up to read some haikus, please?
Come on up, Leonard. Yeah, Leonard.
Don't go with mine.
Leonard is our resident poet, and I believe he's got a few haikus for us. How you going, Leonard?
Yeah, these are. Thank you. These are poems for people like me who don't know much about politics. So just helping educate all the people out there.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is not BFM listeners, obviously, but here we go. And I'm sticking very, very thoroughly to the 575 protocol here.
Yeah.
Labour languishing, RIP to TOP, blue still the new black. That's the first one.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Bill looking cozy, Jacinda biting her nails, Winston holds the key. Bit of mystery there. But not sure if Winston...
Hold on, Leonard. I think the couch is about to fall off the stage. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Adam?
Yeah, Leonard's just like...
Hey, Leonard.
I thought the laughter was at my wonderful haikus.
No, of course not.
Okay, stand up for 1 minute and let's just pull the couch back.
Here we go.
Are we safe now? Are we safe with health?
Sorry to interrupt your haiku.
Have we got health and safety?
Wait,
okay,
say
we're
the
good.
haiku again. I
Okay,
missed
do
it,
the haiku
sorry.
again.
Which one?
'Cause I was
Okay.
the second one.
Bill looking cozy, Jacinda biting her nails, Winston holds the key. That's because I saw that. Did you see that photo of Jacinda on Twitter?
No.
So she's looking at the TV. I don't know if it's photoshopped. I don't think it is. She's in like her Ugg boots and she's looking really concerned. If that was
Shouldn't
on
she
the,
be at her party?
if that was on the screen right now, it was from a while ago. But if that was on the screen, that haiku might have made a bit more sense. But
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks for
we had some
giving
pre-planning.
I got a couple more.
Yeah, keep going. Go ahead.
It's more of the same. The youthquake has not arrived. More pineapple memes. And finally, these are all a bit dark. Sorry to the left wing out there. Writings on the wall, but Bill will not build a wall. Left wing's half full glass. So yeah.
Ooh, pretty good.
Harsh.
Hey, beautiful
I like
poems,
it.
Linda. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Keep up the good work, team. Can I play Pin the Mustache while I'm here?
Yes, you bloody can. All right, let's move
Highlight
this
of the night.
Enthusiasm.
All right, here you go. And while you're doing this, I'm going to pull out that photo of Jacinda so everyone knows what you were talking about. No, you got to. Okay, first of all, do you know how this works? Close your eyes.
Yeah, okay. Is there no?
Okay, so oh no, we don't have a blindfold. I realised when we started broadcasting that we had admitted a blindfold. Okay, so you go. I'll make sure you don't fall off the stage.
Yeah, just make sure your eyes are closed. Yeah, hoodie over the eyes. We like that. Yeah, eyes. I can just see your eyes are open from this angle. Leonard.
No one's gotten it yet. Step back. You were a bit far off. If you can move and let the camera see.
Yeah.
And also, if we can just get my computer. What is that? Oh, it's you standing in front of the camera. If we can get my computer screen up, we'll see the photo of Jacinda that Leonard was talking about. Yeah, go write some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get some more.
Thanks, Leonard.
That's the photo that his haiku was about. Hey, I think we're going to have the Wire hosts back again.
Good. Sounds good.
Wire.
And I want to play some games with the Wire hosts as well after, because
yeah, we can play out. We can start our next game with you guys next.
What is that?
You'll find out.
Can I just have Todd again, please?
As a reward for talking about your show, you get to play a game. Where is Kelly? There she is.
Thanks.
Oh, Kelly.
Sorry, I need to pull the couch back. Cool, guys.
Sorry. Can I lean on you, Harry?
Yeah, totally.
Lean on me.
Do you want to keep going, Harry? That was nice. Okay, so we're on to the final week of your coverage. Home stretch. This was last week, so it should still all be fresh in your brains. You did. So the theme was livability, which is actually quite broad. Maybe I should probably explain something for once. So things about disability policy, family violence, transport, housing, wages, child poverty. There was a lot to choose from. So, India, let's start with you. What did you guys concentrate on the Tuesday Wire?
Well, for the show in general, we focused on family violence and disability policy, and then for the political interviews, we did it in a more general sense. So, yeah, it was quite interesting. The Māori Party and the Opportunities Party have quite similar approaches to solving a lot of livability issues, like the housing crisis and unemployment and low wages. Both parties want a bigger commitment to wages. The Māori Party want a living wage, and the Opportunities Party want a universal basic income.
Right.
I think a lot of the policies are kind of summed up. A lot of the things that they'd kind of been talking about each week kind of all came together in livability. And yeah, both parties are sceptical of National and Labour's commitments to building more houses as a solution to the crisis. The Opportunities Party have the whole kind of restructure of the tax system, which is that they think is a more long-term solution to that. And then the Māori Party want to end homelessness and improve renting and social housing options for Māori and Pacifica in particular. So we kind of ran through quite a general.
Yeah, it's interesting how they had sort of those similarities as well.
Yeah, I guess they both have quite a rounded approach too. So yeah, it's not just like build more houses. It's like, okay, well, why did this occur, and how can we fix it long term?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Harry, Labour?
So we took a little bit of a focus on transport this week.
Right.
So Labour have their big Auckland transport light rail policy. So they're going to be building some light rail from the CBD to Auckland Airport. I spoke to Phil Twyford, who's the campaign chair for Labour. So he basically said that the transport policy has the potential to transform Auckland. There's a lot going for it as a city. He wants a rapid modern network, so to make Auckland City better to live in. So it's going to be, they plan to spend $15 billion in 10 years, which is a lot. Yeah.
Every time someone says billion, it blows.
In 15, yeah, it's a lot. So basically,
I have an understanding of government spending. And
yeah,
I'm like, holy shit.
But then you talk about the United States and and it's just like
how much they
trillions.
Do this exactly. Literally, we're just gonna keep making.
We're happy with 15 billion. No, but they've got a relatively similar amount of spending in terms of transport as national, but they just wanted to. So Phil Twyford just said that their priority is to sort of reshuffle it up. So
instead
roads,
of just buying,
more public
instead
transport.
of just making more roads, it's more into public transport.
So they want the rapid rail from the CBD to the airport.
Right.
And they want to do the light rail out west as well, so State Highway 16, which is pretty cool. So that's going to be in the first 4 years. Have we got that? Have I got that right? Yeah. Yeah. He also wants public transport to be cheaper. So we had a little bit of a conversation just about it. He was just he said that it's a priority for them. They haven't really thought out much about how they're going to get it cheaper, but he definitely recognises the fact that public transport is inaccessible to a lot of people at the moment because it is so expensive. Like things like catching the bus, and Labour are committed to giving more power to government in terms of control of how much public transport costs, especially in Auckland, and they want to try and bring that down.
Yeah, and we should go to, is it Joel that speaks to Greens?
Yeah, I speak to Greens. Can I quickly ask you?
Are you just pretending you don't know that?
No, I actually keep forgetting between Kelly and Joel who does what. I'm just having a weird out-of-body experience just every time we go to the polls. I'm just having trouble focusing genuinely, and I don't want it to be like that, but I'm just losing my shit.
To the Greens,
just quickly, Harry. So you're saying that Labour is spending the same as National essentially on transport?
That's what Phil Twyford said to me. He said that it's for the $15 billion in 10 years is a similar budget and scale to government's plan with Auckland.
So does that mean that every million Facebook comment I've read on a Labour transport article, we're saying, where's the money, Labour, is just full of shit?
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing that Labour is saying, is that National are just using these scammongering techniques.
All right.
And it has been basically the entire campaign.
So cool it down, all right?
Sorry.
Guys, no fighting.
All right, so Green Party.
It's not a fight.
No, we're agreeing.
Yeah, we're in agreement.
Listen.
Sorry, me and Jogai were both on Twitter.
You guys are shut up.
Livability, what did you concentrate on?
I talked to Marama Davidson, and we talked mostly about housing and the redistribution of wealth.
Right.
She's saying that New Zealand's an extremely wealthy country, and it's sort of really upsetting that because we're such a wealthy country, we have such record homelessness, such terrible poverty, and she puts this down to the fact that few people are making a lot of money, going back to that, and not many other people are. So she thinks we need to raise income tax for high earners, put in capital gains taxes, regulate the housing markets to increase supply, and support workers' rights by strengthening unions and increase social spending. So it's sort of very, very broad in that sense. And she also said that she was very disappointed in Labour for not wanting to put tax in the first term. But we also quickly talked about the Green Party's renting and insulation policy, which came in recently. And so under this policy, landlords will not receive any letting fees. Mandatory warrant of fitness would be in place for all houses. There will be a register of landlords that assesses their ability to look after homes, which I think is quite a major one. And like if a landlord proves incompetent, then they can't like legally rent houses out, which I think is quite amazing and cool.
There were definitely a lot of landlords who spoke up about that in opposition to it.
I got a call up.
Labour's angle is to support renters over landlords.
Well, yeah, because doesn't a lot of landlords come out and say that if they had to sort of do this, then they would raise their rents, which seems counterproductive.
Yeah, a dude called me and he was like, well, why don't we have a register of renters? And I'm like, dude, there's like fucking like 3 million renters in New Zealand. Like, do you want
more than half of New Zealand's population rents?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And finally, they wanted to introduce a minimum of 3 years on any lease. So if you sign a lease, you have to stay there for 3 years unless you negotiate down. And I didn't quite agree with that because I think that it makes it quite hard for students because students are sort of moving around all the time and it's already hard enough for them to get houses at the moment. So if they have to sort of try and negotiate with a landlord to reduce the renting time that they have, then the house might go to people that aren't students or like their families and stuff. So it could make it harder with that. Yeah, that's green.
It's green.
Kelly?
Blue through and through. We talked mostly about housing. Actually, I pretty much said to Jamie Lee what they were going to do about the housing crisis, and Nationals, like you were saying, have come under quite a lot of criticism, I suppose, from people like TOP. And I talked to a journalist who made a documentary about housing in New Zealand. They're pretty much their solution is to just build a lot more houses, and which is needed because there are so many people in Auckland. But this journalist made a documentary about how there's lots of foreign investment supposedly coming in, buying all our houses, and there's obviously an older generation that is sort of cornered the housing market and bought them all, and then obviously is renting them out at high prices. Jamie Lee said that they're putting more money into accommodation supplements. There's 300,000 people on accommodation supplements, but with that means I had a guy text in being like, well, that just means that landlords are putting up renting prices. Like it doesn't do. It's just again cyclical stuff. National wants to free up more land. Apparently, Auckland Council's saying they can free up 400. They can free up enough land for 423,000 homes. So.
But that's sort of that whole expanding, outwards thing, and probably
I think it was Labour that's saying they want to get rid of the Auckland boundary, so that So
target for 10,000 houses in a year, and National is saying that the most homes that New Zealand has managed to build in a year so far is 8,500, and so Labour's goal is big.
Phil Twyford has said, David Seymour, Phil Twyford and Duncan Garner, cheers Dunk, have said, just got no place, anyway, have made claims a number of houses in Auckland being built is around 6,800 a year at the moment. National's goal was 13,000 a year, so these
they're both shooting high.
These are just claims, so there's no cold hard evidence for that. But Amy Adams and Jamie Lee were both like, I don't have an exact figure, so I feel like that is pointed enough. So I kind of went to Jamie Lee and I was like, so what about foreign investors that are buying our houses, they can call over the phone pretty much and buy a house. As Gareth Morgan says often, people come he's like, my friend from, what did he say? Like, my friend from Sweden just called over the phone and bought 5 hectares of land. He's like, yeah, I've got rich friends overseas. I was like, okay.
Whereas Labour are actually going to ban foreign speculators from buying existing New Zealand homes.
Exactly.
And tax property speculators who float out those houses within 5 years.
Yes. And National said, a couple of years ago, they changed, they had a law change to say that you had to, if you wanted to buy a house, you had to provide information about where you were a tax resident. So there was a law change there, and maybe now there's more information about where the people are from, but there's still no limit on how many houses are being sold.
Right.
So actually, if there was to be a investigation into it, I think we'd see a lot less of New Zealand home ownership than maybe we think, which would be quite worrying. And also, I said, what about homelessness? Because that is rife. And he said, we need to do a lot better. There's a lot of effort going in.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Awesome.
Election year.
Okay. Hey, that was our last Wire catch-up, but we want you guys to come back and play some games maybe, but we need to talk to Mac about the numbers.
Maybe they could just stay here. Matt could come do Bolton. We can
Hey,
all
Matt,
play a
come
game.
here.
Just talking about
Hey, we're actually, little change of plans. We're going to go to a quick ad break and we'll be back after this.
Kia ora, BFM, Sam speaking.
Yeah, g'day, Dave. Hey, I want to advertise my bar on B.
Great. So tell me about it. What do you want to say?
Right, the Jitties is a fucking decent bar. Like, it's got this shit hot window. I mean, this window is... Like, I'm looking out of it now, and I can barely believe it. This window is truly the tits, yeah?
Cool. Window. Got it. Anything else?
For live music, reasonable prices, no door charge, and a bloody lovely window, Legitties, St Kevin's Arcade.
Wonder Garden is back for 2017, and lucky for you, BFM is giving away some tickets. With Unknown Mortal Orchestra, Leisure, Chelsea Jade, Swidit, Marla, Nadia Reid, Remy, The Ruby Sons, Bailey Wiley and Boy Boy. Don't leave town for New Year's. Wonder Garden 2017, December 31st at Silo Park. Stay tuned to 95 BFM all week for your chance to win, or go to wondergarden.co.nz for tickets.
Hell, Trev, the King's Arms is going, and I've got to live my dream. Rock Hard Johnny's Explosion are reuniting.
Mate, Flatto doing sound, Wet Boy on security. We'll need 300 attending to break even.
More than Gaz's wedding.
Well, the front bar's free.
Close enough. Rock lives!
Don't worry if you can't fill the main bar. The King's Arms front bar fits 150 and has no hire fee. Book now. Don't miss your last chance to play the legendary King's Arms.
The Cold Cut Solid Steel Show, the worldwide oral institution that's one of the longest running mix shows on the dial. Arriving fresh each week with a bounty of the broadest beats currently banging the globe. Playlists posted regularly on 95bfm.com for your referencing pleasure. The Cold Cut Solid Steel Show, 2 hours of melted down, mashed up musical madness. 11 p.m. till 1 a.m. every Saturday night on 95BFM. Solid.
At this radio station, we do our utmost to abide by the Broadcasting Standards Authority and their rules and guidelines. If you seriously think we've crossed the line on air, give us a call on 309 4831 within 20 working days of the broadcast date and tell us about it. We'll be able to help you out and tell you the procedure if you wish to make a formal complaint to the Broadcasting Standards Authority. Fuck knuckles, cock and piss. Balls. Thank you.
Kia ora and welcome back to the 95. Thank you, I will take that. Welcome back to the 95 BFM election special. I'm here joined with the baby of the house. What's his name?
He smells just lovely.
I've actually forgotten his name. Todd
Coffee
Barclay.
Supreme, by the way, fantastic sponsor of 95 BFM.
I don't know if they want to be associated with them.
No, they're not. They're not sponsoring this.
Anyway, it's just gone 7 minutes past 10, and we're going to talk to Mac, who has some numbers about where we're at on the polls.
But
Well,
I'll do it here from the floor. Our printer's also broken, so I'm using my phone. But it's otherwise we're holding it together. Yeah, no, it isn't. I mean,
Hey, well, the Skype has gone right.
I mean, in terms of politically.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I was going to make something about the left. Anyway,
go on.
83.9%. So it's moving. It's slowed down, trickling a bit. We're still on same numbers. 46.4 for National, up 10 on Labour, and New Zealand First at 7.4, and Green Party on 5.9. So it's still staying pretty consistent. Winston Peters just gave his speech. He's actually here to give it a bit early because his seat hasn't even been called at this point. He's 26 ahead in Northland of Nationals Matt King.
Winston is.
So he's
on the
just
comeback.
ahead. There's no, I see. We're not dinging this one. Okay. Anyway, he gave his speech saying no decision is going to be made. Obviously, they've still got significant party vote, even if he doesn't win his seat. No decision is going to be made until he consults with everyone and tomorrow and comes back with a decision or whatever you might expect out of that. Some sad news for some in Te Tai Tonga, where Materia Ture is 3,000 behind with 89.1% of the vote. So it's a somber ding on that one, perhaps. If that's possible. That's we tried, didn't we?
I thought that was somber. My attitude was. So, everyone.
David Seymour, I only found out about this through ACT's Twitter, but apparently he said that ACT will now play a crucial role in opposition and again in government in 2020. So, I mean, that sounds like he's rolling out a government position with National. Yeah. Unless he's reading the polls very differently, which is, I mean, we heard some excerpts from the book. Yeah. Who knows at this point? But yeah.
So no electorate seats announced. So got no bell rings.
Well, you just got a somber bell ring, but no others. No, none to add to that.
All right. Thanks, Mac.
Okay. We're gonna play a game to cheer up a little bit. I'm tired as well. Yeah.
I'm very tired.
Game.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
If some of you don't want to play, you don't have to play it. But
if you don't want to play, you can leave the stage now.
We're looking at you, Matt.
I really thought it was good. No, you don't have to leave. Don't leave if you. Okay. Bye.
So in this bowl, I have. Do more people want to play? We can do 2 rounds. We can do multiple rounds. We've got to talk to. Yeah, we can do a 10-minute game, we can do another minute game. Okay, so in this bowl, Amanda has kindly written names of New Zealand politicians, past and present. So you have to stick them to your forehead, and then you have to ask us questions. Is it yes or no questions?
I don't even know. Yeah, yes or no questions. Nothing that gives it away too clearly.
Yeah, sure. Take a name, guys. Stick it on your forehead. I don't have anything to stick it with, so just lick it or something.
You can just hold it up.
Oh, we've got tape. Do you guys want to tape your foreheads?
Oh my god, my laptop! Terrible throw. Horrendous throw.
Yeah, also can I just point out that Amanda has turned up and she's got a great haircut.
Yeah,
did you grab one?
Haircut. Can we get a cut of that haircut? No. Okay. I can't take this tape off because I don't.
It's upside down. It's upside down. Okay, can everyone please show the camera? Put it on. I don't know how to do that. It's upside down. And also look at Ben.
Okay.
Has everyone got a shot?
Okay. I can't look at the TV. Yeah, so just stay still and we're just going to pan across.
Oh yeah, close your eyes, don't look at the TV.
Oh,
interesting. That's the best shot of Joel. Oh my god. He was calling.
Cameras.
Okay. All right. Don't look at the monitor.
So yes or no questions.
Okay.
Start it off. You're also going to need mics. Remember, guys. Remember to use your mics. Cheers. All right. Do you want to start us off, Harry? Ask a question.
Am I male or female?
You're male.
Oh, is this like a yes or no?
Oh.
Okay. Am I a male?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I a male?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, this is going to be so confusing.
Well, am I a liberal or like particularly?
No, you got to ask yes or no.
That's a yes or no.
What's the question?
Am I like a left-wing politician?
No.
Am I a current MP?
Yes.
Am I a National Party MP?
No.
Am I current MP?
Yes.
Yep.
God, we need to spice this up, guys. Come on, ask some stupid questions.
Have I said anything ridiculous?
Yes.
Yes.
So many things.
Wait, like this election?
Just say yes.
The yes
Just
and no is
say
boring.
yes.
I'm going to give him my question. Yes, this election.
Oh,
Do you have a guess? Do you have a guess? Do the guess.
Wait.
Give her the mic back if she has a guess.
Wait, turn around a bit. I don't know where to start.
You can guess.
No, I'm gonna keep.
Okay. All right, Joel.
Am I under 35?
He's new baby of the house.
No. Yes.
Yep. I'm gonna look it up.
Probably.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm
I'll
gonna
get
do
back
yes.
to you.
Oh, I think I know who I am. Because he's same age. Sarah.
Yep, he's under 35. He is under 35.
Am I a current MP?
No, you're not.
Am I over 70?
Yes.
Yep.
Am I Winston Peters?
Yes!
You got
India
it.
wins. Here is a minty.
Have I been called hot or anything? Am I one of those
No.
MPs?
No. Oh my god.
Apparently we have, sorry, we're going to have to pause the game for a minute because apparently we have Paula Bennett. If this is a joke, I'm going to be livid. Let's cross to Connor Squared. Hi guys.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, she's right
Holy
there.
shit.
I thought you guys were lying.
G'day, how you going?
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah,
Are you talking to us, to the Connors? Are
we're
we on
still,
air?
we're still,
Yeah, we're talking to you. We got you, boys.
Hi.
What's going on?
Perfect. All right, so just to let you know, we're still awaiting a chat with Paula Bennett. We found out we're after RNZ right now, so we will get a chat with the deputy leader in not too long, but we just got to wait and see. Questions lined up if the interview goes forward. We are going to ask her about the $11.7 billion fiscal hole around with Labour's policy that's been debunked by most mainstream economists, pretty much every mainstream economist in New Zealand. We want to ask her about the.
What was that?
Connor, did I just hear that right? Are you going to ask Paula Bennett about the $11.7 billion hole?
Absolutely.
We do,
We're going to
because
push
we
her
want
on
to
it.
know. We want to know if that is a policy that has been united by the party, or if it's something that is just Stephen Joyce's own doing.
That's the spice I've been waiting for all night.
God, I
not gonna
can't
lie.
wait for this.
Absolutely. So we want to know if there's party unity on that. We also want to know about the Tom Sainsbury segment as well.
We were just
that
discussing this. Please
been going. Yeah.
If I could posit a quick question in there, how's Canopy Discovery been trending? Has that been mentioned much on the show tonight? Because I want to let you know, those sliders I saw disappeared quickly to be replaced by lovely tacos and a pulled pork bow. Well done, National. Well done.
I can see a photo on our Twitter of Connor said you were very impressed with the frequency of the sliders at the National Party. Hey, how long do you think it's going to be till you're going to get to Paula?
We asked for an ETA. We still haven't got one. All we know is that we're after. All we know is that we're after RNZ right now. So we will continue discussions with the media director until they break down.
I can only assume she's on the phone right now trying to figure out where those mini sushis are as part of the Canopy selection.
Absolutely.
No, she's looking for her bowl latte and her panini, obviously.
Yeah.
Those canapes aren't good enough.
Yeah. So we'll try our best. We will get back to you with the deputy leader when we can.
Okay.
But we've made it a mission. We're on a mission from God.
Dear Lord. All right, boys. Good luck.
Fantastic.
Behave and don't drink anything else before you talk to her. Cheers. Oh God.
Okay, back to the game. Back to the game.
Yes, back to the game.
Yep. Back to the game. You go and ask each other questions.
Am I an acting P?
Also, before we carry on, I just need to say thank you again to our sponsors, Low Tech Media, PLS Lighting, and the Gear Room for making this stream possible, the stream that we are watching. Did you guess yourself, Harry? Well, put your paper back on your forehead. All right, who's got the next question?
Am I a National MP?
No.
Give her a mic. Give her a
Am I a National MP?
No, you're not.
Am I a Labour MP?
No, you're not.
Am I a Labour MP?
No.
Am I an actor?
Hey.
Yes.
Alright, just go. You go
David.
now.
Yeah, obviously, the only acting MP. There is none.
Was I in Parliament in the 90s?
No.
Was I in Parliament in the noughties?
No.
You can't ask consecutively.
We already
Let Joel
told you that
ask.
he's never been in
I'm
Parliament.
quitting.
Sorry,
Oh.
let Joel have a go.
Do I have a particularly spicy haircut?
No. Not really, no.
Who has a spicy haircut in Parliament?
I reckon Paula Bennett has a spicy haircut.
True that, actually. Spicy haircut paired with those bloody beaded long necklaces.
Jeff
That's a
Simmons?
look.
It's a
Oh, he's got some spicy hair, Jeff Simmons.
True that. All right.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Harry,
Yeah.
go.
Am I multi-party?
No.
Am I national?
Yes.
Have I talked on BFM?
No, you haven't. No, he hasn't.
Oh, he hasn't. That's right.
Can I give Joel a clue?
Yeah, please.
Give her a mic.
His biggest achievement is putting through legislation against window washers.
Oh, I'm Jamie Lee Ross.
Yeah, you got the dud one. No offense. Sorry, Jamie Lee. You're not watching this.
And
It's
I saw a
Give
window.
Oh my god.
I saw a window washer the other day at Green Lane intersection, so it hasn't worked.
For those who didn't know, Jamie Lee Ross was responsible for putting forward legislation that was basically going to ban all window washers at traffic lights. All right, so you're the last
I
one
need a
left,
clue.
Harry.
Don't make it. Fuck it.
Oh,
I knew that
Gareth
was going to
Morgan.
be it.
No,
and then
you were going to do a
Duncan
great clue
Green.
about, like, look at your surroundings.
That's not as
Gareth.
All right, whatever.
Been to North Korea.
Has he?
Yeah.
Shit. Should we
He
do
rode his
round
bike
two
around.
with more BFMers then?
I think we're speaking to Bryce Edwards quite soon. Adam is just getting him up on Skype. I'm just going to do a little desk tidy.
Get everything in order.
Yeah, if you take that.
Not
Sorry,
normal.
admin guys. Oh, we are with Caitlin at the Green
Hey,
Party.
Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
That's me. Yeah.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hi.
How is it over at the Greens?
It's very exciting. James Shaw is about to arrive. I don't keep over that direction. And he'll hopefully walk behind us any moment.
Whoa. Hey, I reckon
Can you
you're
try
gonna
and have a chat to him?
Yes. We're quite tied up with all of these headphones, but we'll do our best to grab him without destroying my computer.
Hey, Caitlin.
Yes.
I think you're going to need to step your game up because Connor Squared are about to get us an interview with Paula Bennett.
I have heard that, and I'm very excited.
So-
I've wanted Paula Bennett on BFM for a long time.
Can I get a food update too?
Yes, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hello. I've been brought on to report on the facility at the Greens party here. I have 3 points I'd like to make.
Yes, carry on.
Yeah. Facilities, toilet-wise, 12 out of 10.
Why are they so good? Tell me more.
It's been fantastic, lady. I can't even explain. We've had 2 people that have helped direct us to the toilet. They've stopped for casual conversation. They've just been so polite, and I just couldn't be happier.
All right, point 2.
Point 2, food. Incredibly disappointing.
Why?
It's been anti-pesto platters, and the bread has been soggy. The pesto wasn't delicious. The hummus tasted off. And, I don't know what else to say about that, but 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Damn, that's really disappointing.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Not a great night for Labour, is it? No.
We're at the Greens.
Jogai.
Jogai just thought we were at Labour.
I'm absolutely out
We're
of
trying to
it.
multitask. Okay, what's the third point?
Third point, security.
What about
the security guards? 10 out of 10.
And why would that be?
Just top-notch banter. Jokes on point all night. Just new friends here for Caitlin and I. Really happy.
This is our new investigative reporter, Brian.
Hey, can she start on the wire next week? She'd be great.
Ariana. Wednesdays? Are we having a Wednesday yet?
No, let's have her on.
Facilities updates.
I think James Shaw coming in now.
Oh, are we going to wait for Oh, guys. Are they like announcing him like he's a king or something? This is so weird.
I think so, yeah.
Semi-serious question, Caitlin. How's the vibe with the polls and everything?
A little bit more subdued, but the polls haven't really changed, so I don't know that it has all that much to do with that. I think it's more looking at how Labour is doing. Yeah. Current mood, am I right?
Yeah, feel that.
Okay, hang on. We're actually bringing in a banner to really do a backdrop for him walking in.
Are you serious? Oh my
Holy
god,
shit.
that's actually real.
Are we going to wait for this, or what's the vibe?
I don't know. If he's not going to come, I'm tired. Oh, look, there he is.
There he comes.
Hey,
There
get
he
that
comes.
one news out of there.
Is that Jack?
I organised this specially, guys.
Jack! Can you hear me? Jack!
No, we're hearing headphones like professionals, actually.
Damn it.
You like fixing your hair looking at Jack. Like, Jesus Christ. Jack's home.
Oh, of course he's... Hey, Caitlin, get up there next to Jack. Oh, you've got a stupid computer, don't you?
Just creepy.
Are we going to wait for James? Let's just wait for James. Jack.
Sorry,
look at this
Sorry, are we now just waiting for Jack?
I said James.
We meant James. Is that him just walked in? No.
No. There'll be a lot more ceremony, I think.
They'll probably
Because honestly, all these people, just like regular people, keep walking in the door, and there's this big parade ready, and it just looks so awkward.
Got a Twitter update.
I'm going to tweet at Jack. I'm going to tweet at Jack.
Look at the laptop.
Jack,
please.
My phone is so slow.
Do you want me to tweet it? Okay, I'm going to tweet it. Actually, no, I'm not. It's all yours. Jack!
All right. We should probably put it into this. Okay, making an executive decision. Caitlin, we'll talk to you again soon.
I can't see him.
We've got
Fair
more
enough.
of David Seymour's book to read, so we'll talk to you soon.
Bye!
See ya! Be good. God, I'm
Jack
tired.
time. That was so perfect.
That was great timing.
perfect.
I think it's actually almost 10:30. It's 10:25. Can we get a poll update from Mac if he wants to come in? And Mikey Havoc is here. Mikey, come up on the
Come
couch.
on up.
Come say hey. Give Mikey a mic.
Yeah, Mikey.
Mikey. Breakfast host Mikey Havoc.
Not in your pajamas though.
Hello. We were actually requesting that you would come in your pajamas. Like you... Hey, careful.
Down here with the kids.
You're down with the kids. We were actually requesting that you'd come in your pajamas like you did with Newsboy. In your pajamas like you did with Newsboy in your election coverage in 2000.
Those pajamas are old and tattered now, Pearl.
Well, you can just buy some new ones.
Yeah, I can. Do you want me to come to work on Monday in my pajamas?
I won't be here on Monday. It's fine. How you feeling tonight, Mikey?
You're moving offshore.
Yeah.
With these results.
After this election, I'm skipping the country.
Fair enough.
Depending on what these results
How
are.
am I feeling about these results?
Yeah, how you feeling tonight?
Average. That's kind of disgusting that New Zealand's nationaled all over itself again.
Yeah.
You can smell the smugness. Yeah, I'm pretty down about it, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of...
I just hoped that no one would fall for the bullshit, and everyone's just falling for the bullshit again.
Yeah, that's what David Slack was basically
Just
saying.
like, if it's, having a 1-year-old son has really changed me, and
Alrighty.
No, but seriously, like, how much of a better politician is no matter what you say about the Labour's the results tonight. Labour have run a nice campaign where they haven't had to muckrake, they haven't done any personal attacks, they haven't lied blatantly over and over and over and over and over and just tried to cheat their way into it, and that's really impressive, I think, and it was a short game too for them because she became the leader recently, didn't she? That's Jacinda I'm talking about. But it's yeah. And so I'm bummed out about that. I'm bummed out that fuckwits get in again.
We just got an update on the polls as well just now.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Mac to come on. We've got to update that 90% of the votes had been counted.
90%, you know, so what?
Wire host, I might have to ask you to vacate the couch. Thank you, guys.
Can I ask you guys a question, though, before you leave, wire host, because you're really brainy? Do you think people vote on what the polls, like if the polls say that National's ahead or the polls say Labour's, do you think people just go, oh, sweet, I'll just go, ooh.
A lot of the people I talk to, yeah.
Particularly for smaller parties like New Zealand First or Green or Top, I think if there's a chance that they're not going to make it into Parliament, people will put their vote into a bigger party.
And if they're not informed on politics, they'll vote what their parents vote or what their family votes.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Gareth Morgan did a good speech tonight, I thought. Did anyone see that?
Didn't he say
he did it in a
New
t-shirt?
Zealand?
He did it in a t-shirt. He turned up to the speech in a
He's
t-shirt.
just a Kiwi bloke, isn't
Just
he?
hard, just relaxed, eh?
Yeah,
Casual.
just relaxed about the
Just
whole
casual,
deal.
yeah, just like, you know, just regular, you know,
Regular
like say
bloke,
regular
yeah.
Kiwi dude,
Yeah,
handlebar moustache and
yeah, have a bit. Yeah.
But and then Mr. Peters, you guys didn't see that though. He did a speech before, a little bit doddery.
We heard doddery as in... A little
bit doddery. I'm not saying demented, I'm just saying doddery. You know, and he said that he would make a decision, but just not for ages.
All right, let's get Mac on to talk numbers.
Hey, still what a great day to be in New Zealand, yeah! Come on, Kiwis!
Oh, wait, Adam is saying something. Paul Bennett. There's a Paul Bennett. Bryce Edwards.
Sorry, we've actually got Bryce Edwards.
Oh, don't worry about it, I'll see you later.
Thanks, Mikey.
Hello, Bryce?
She's supposed to talk to Bryce as well.
Yeah, come have a yarn.
Come on. Get here. I think
Bryce Edwards.
Yes,
Are you with
I'm
us?
here.
Hello, how are you?
Bryce.
I'm great. I'm loving it.
Can't see him at the moment. Oh, no camera?
Oh, we've got no video for Bryce. Sorry about that.
Audio.
Some confusion. How are you feeling tonight?
Oh, I'm getting a bit tired, but it has been a night as expected. Pretty much like those polls suggested, apart from with the Murray Party. So the death of the Murray Party is really the big upset of the night. But otherwise, it's New Zealand First's night. We are seeing that Winston Peters has got that balance of responsibility, he calls it, or otherwise balance of power, and he is going to decide who governs.
Yeah. I think that's what we're all expecting. Yeah, I'm just going on to back to the death of the Māori Party. I wanted to ask, Marama Fox said earlier that she blames Labour for that, and that Labour should have let them have those seats. What do you think about that?
No, I think that's quite arrogant, actually. I think so owns the Murray votes, and no one owns the Murray seats, and that the Murray Party haven't done good enough. I mean, I think there is a place for a Murray Party in Parliament, but this one just hasn't managed to convince enough of their supporters that they're doing good things, and they've voted them out. So it is quite extraordinary, I think, for Tierra Flavel, being the leader of a political party, being a minister, to be voted out by a newcomer like Tamati Coffey. But they must have deserved it, in my view, because you can't. No one has a monopoly on these seats, and that's how it should be.
I mean, are you agreeing that it's a shock, that it's an upset?
Oh yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, it's probably the biggest shock of the night. Yeah, absolutely. To have the Murray Party, finished now, and yes, they might come back in the future, but it'll be very difficult for them. And it is still sad, but
They didn't have a lot of, hi, Bryce, Mike Cavacare Breakfast Show. Good morning.
Yes, Mike.
Good evening. Hope your election's going well. They didn't have a lot of bluster in their campaign, though. They're barely noticeable, I thought.
Yeah.
Just no substance.
No, they're a bit conservative, really. I mean, Marama Fox has done quite well, and she's where the real lifeblood of the party is. And I do feel quite more sorry for her, because she's pretty colourful and vibrant. But the rest of the party, they've just become so conservative, and I don't think they even really. I don't think Tierra Flavel even really wanted it that badly. So he just let it slip.
Has anything else been a surprise for you tonight? Were you expecting the National to be in the lead?
Yeah, I think they've probably done better than I might have expected, but not much better. And there's been a few seats that I haven't seen the final results of, but, Auckland Central was much closer than I would have expected. I just thought Nikki Kay would be able to win that quite easily. Yet there must be a lot of, I guess, youth that are, been voting along Jacinda Mania lines and keeping that seat in play for Labour. So that's been quite amazing. But we really have to keep remembering, I think, that, we do have to wait 2 more weeks for those final the final numbers. And the special votes could still have quite a big, it could change quite a lot.
How many votes are there expected to be in the special votes category, right?
Actually, that's a good question. I can't answer that, but I would say something in the area
lots
of about
or
400,000.
a little, a few, or
about 400,000.
For 400,000,
but
that's heaps.
Yeah, something like that. It's lots, yeah. So you have to remember, for example, that over the last 2 weeks.
Oh, you there?
And enrolling at the same time over the last 2 weeks, they have given us a special vote.
Yep.
Sorry, are you there, guys?
Yeah, no, sorry, you're right. You just cut out, but we got that bit at the end. So you're saying that people who enrolled and voted at the same time are being counted as special votes?
That's right, over the last 2 weeks.
Right.
So I think there's about 200,000 of them. So,
wow.
And they will be more inclined to be voting Labour and Greens, I think, as well as the overseas voters will be more Labour.
Could I ask you one more question, bro? Do you guys mind? What sort of untruths do you think would have to be uttered to change the conservative New Zealand vote? Like, I mean, this is I'm angry about the bullshit that National's sort of been thrown around these last couple of weeks. And then if you think back to the last election, there was the dirty politics rubbish as well. That when they were sort of denying all that, and all turned out to be accurate. But how much bullshit can they sort of summon up? And is it New Zealanders just too scared to take them on about it, do you think?
Yeah, no, I really do sympathise with what you're saying. I think
Thank you, Bryce.
Quite angry like that, but maybe I'm playing devil's advocate. But did Labour really put up, something powerful at this election? Did they really have anything that was going to, I mean, their tax policies were vacuous. They were sort of quite empty and vague. Were they really going to do anything that amazing about the housing crisis or inequality or, some of these other issues? And so I think for a lot of voters, they probably weren't as mobilised by Labour as they could have been on the left.
See, I would have thought that something like, Bill English lying down the camera at that last leaders debate would have been more polarising for people, but it seems to not really make too much of a difference.
No, you're right. So it does. I think after this election, we're going to have a lot of angst and quite
have an audit of all their answers. Don't you think?
Yes, but we're going to have angst. I think about the lack of political education and civics education, and the fact that maybe the media and other people aren't really holding them to account. So yeah, that will be the conversation, because you're right. There have been lies told, and politicians have profited from it. So. Yeah, maybe it's breakfast show hosts need to try harder. I'm not looking at any particular course. But,
I mean, here's what I was about to say before on stage, you guys, is that I've got a little son, and I've found the Labour parties, the way that they ran their campaign was inspirational, and it's really nice to be able to go like, hey, there's a cool politician right there, and who's not a liar and full of shit. And that's been a real pleasure with the Jacinda Mania to be able to say that about her, and it's really disgusted me about National's form, because I think if they're a good enough political party in the government, then they should have been able to do it without doing all that,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and actually connected to that, connected to that, what was quite interesting about this campaign was there was actually quite a low amount of hate. So I don't really think Labour supporters hated Bill English that much, and I don't think National supporters hated Jacinda Ardern that much.
There were personal attacks.
Relatively.
I mean.
Oh, yes, but they were the aberration, I think. They were... they were more the exception that proved the rule. I think mostly it was quite good natured. I thought the selection campaign.
Yeah, I think my favourite text message I got the whole of the campaign was when someone said, "For God's sake, whatever happens after Saturday, do the right thing and let Paula Bennett back to the sea where she belongs." And
Oh my!
And on that note,
Yep.
I think we've got
That's a personal
thank you.
viewpoint.
Cut it there.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mikey.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Bryce. Thank you so much, Bryce. Have a great night. I think we're going to
Bye, Bryce.
cross over
Okay, thanks,
now.
guys. Cheers.
Thank you. I think we're going to cross over now to Lucy, who is at Labour. Lucy, hello. Oh no, I'm getting a.
Okay, should we
I'm getting a
quickly get
Skype dial
bulletin?
tone.
Should we quickly get a bulletin from Mac and then go to Lucy?
No, wait. I think we're good. Have we got Lucy? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Hey, Lucy.
Oh look, there she is.
What's up, Lucy?
Sorry, I didn't see you.
Hey.
Hey, Lucy. How's the vibe over there with these polls?
I'm pretty nervous, to be honest, but excited. Jacinda done 5 seats. It really brought me up.
What's the speech happening in the background?
Yeah, so Andrew Carson's currently speaking, and we had Helen White introduce Auckland Central before that, which is really cool.
So do you think everyone's feeling still pretty positive?
Relentlessly positive.
Yeah, we're relentlessly positive.
All right.
But, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Lucy. We'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Mac.
So polite.
Come on up.
Hey, come on, Mac. Let's get a
She's
bulletin.
just British.
All right. What's going on?
There's a few things happening right now because Jacinda's
Got on the old phone now even. Up to date, go on.
The printer's broken.
Printer's broken, but thanks for bringing that up again. We're at 92.7% of the vote now. So National still the same on 46, Labour on 35, New Zealand First 7.5, and Green Party on 5.8. James Shaw also has just said that he's going to be having a conversation with Jacinda tomorrow morning to see where they go from there. But he said New Zealanders have voted for change. So that's an interesting interpretation of the results so far. We also have Kelvin Davis pretty much taking down Hone Harawera and Te Tai Tokeroa with 83% of the vote counted. There's not really any other way that could go. Northland is still close though. It's still kind of lagging behind the other electorates. It's just 56% counted. But Matt King, we've kind of seen over the evening Matt King and Winston Peters going back and forth, and now Matt King's in the lead. Winston Peters, he's done for the day, obviously. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens with that. David Seymour's also called Epsom. But we don't really know anything more about that weird comment from him that he was basically ruling out
What if Act
the
Labour
government.
like Act Labour Green?
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know if
Weird.
there's like
Surely not. That
backdoor
wouldn't happen, eh?
dealing, or maybe he's just like they don't need him anymore.
Right.
And there's National will just either go with NZ first or they won't, and Act won't really make a difference. And meanwhile you've got Gareth Morgan. We heard from him saying he was disappointed in New Zealand. Now he's kind of come up again and saying he's saying the Greens should partner up with National because that's what Top would do. So that's.
I thought Top
interesting
completely ruled
advice.
out working with anyone the whole election. Wasn't that their thing that they said that they wouldn't work with
Well,
anyone?
they wanted their policies to be implemented. I think
Right.
that's kind of what he wants the Greens to do. But
Cool.
we'll have to wait and see.
All right, cheers. I think we've got Connor Squared back.
Yeah. Also,
at
Jack
National.
Marshall just commented on a live stream, said you're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Jack.
Matt.
Thanks, Jack.
Cheers, Jack.
Hey,
Hi, guys.
Connor.
Yeah,
Connor Squared, what's going on?
Hey guys, the mood is far from blue down here. Everyone's feeling pretty happy at this stage, I'd say. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. People are definitely getting into the bar and the canapes, that's for sure. Connor, what's happening in the numbers?
So what we're seeing at the moment is, as Matt probably said, National still have the clear majority in terms of party votes, but yeah, Labour Greens and NZ First still potentially have the possibility of forming government. So like I said earlier, everything to play for. In terms of interviews so far,
where's Paula
we
Bennett?
we talked about an interview with Paula Bennett. That unfortunately hasn't happened. Stephen Joyce equally, that hasn't happened.
Right
the
now.
difference between those two, Stephen Joyce told us himself that he didn't want the interview, and Paula Bennett used her communications director. So that was the clear difference between the two.
Very politely fobbed us off.
What did
I
you
would
say?
like to say that Paula Bennett, if you are listening to BFM right now, good on you for a start. Secondly, where are you? Because we're at the back here and we've been trying to track you down all night.
Exactly. You've been, I have literally been running around the corridors of the National Party convention trying to get an interview. So we tried our best, and the contact that we made after a few drinks bought by me was
the drinks at the National Party not
contact
free.
made got us a potential interview with one of the people on the National Party running ad.
Connor.
So there we are.
Connor, who are you talking to?
Connor, are the drinks at the National Party not free?
No, they're not free, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I tried my best to wrangle some free drinks. I mean, there have been a couple of free drinks bought tonight.
Yeah,
but not for us.
I mean, I've tried. We tried everything. Nice comments. A few drinks here and there, but alas, we haven't managed an interview, unfortunately.
Firstly, disappointed on the free drinks department, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Leaving it there, though.
All right. Thanks, boys.
All right.
Take care.
Talk to you soon. Thanks for trying to get Paul. I forgot to ask about the food again.
Oh, it's all right. I think we have a fair idea of Connor's opinions on the food.
What do we have
what's
next?
I don't know, game. I'm fuck the script because it's like throw it away. Do we want to do another round of this game? Any more beer fitters? That's what I want to do.
All right, come on,
Come on
play
up,
some
people
games.
who haven't been up yet.
I will also bring my script back.
Hunter, come on up. Hunter, come up.
You have to give me someone that I'll know.
We're not.
Oh yeah, Hunter really knows.
Okay, now stay then.
Rachel.
Yes, Rachel. Who else?
Leonard.
Amanda. Amanda.
Yeah, but you're not going to know.
It's fine. You're not going to know who you get.
Come on,
Lily,
come on, everybody.
fantastic.
Please make sure you share the mics around as well, because it's like really annoying.
2 mics. Where's the second mic?
Leonard's got his hummus.
Yeah, all right. Actually, before we start, we're going to hand these out, and then we're going to go an ad break, and then we're going to come back with this game.
Okay, sweet.
Thanks, guys. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I actually think I'm about to fall asleep. Yeah, like.
Crisp biscuits and fresh vegetables every Tuesday from 7 p.m. Replayed 4 a.m. Wednesday and always online at 95bfm.com. With thanks to Love Bucket, 309 K Road. Check it.
Stinky Groove. Stinky Jim. Stinky Groove. Stinky Jim. Stinky Jim. Stinky Groove. Stinky Jim.
Stinky Jim. He stinks from within.
Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Back on the Good Foot's about to start.
No, wait. What are you doing? I'm not wearing any shoes.
Huh?
Oh no, it's too late. The salacious mix of quality grooves. It's too much. I can't not dance. It's only a matter of time before my poor unprotected feet are ground down to wet, chalky nubs and I'm left totally footless.
I mean, I can just turn off the radio.
No, I like this song.
Back on the Good Foot, dousing you in solid soul toe tappers, rocksteady groovers, and filthy funk freakouts every Sunday from 2 till 4 with your delightful hosts Tina Turntables and Mr. Crawley. Back on the Good Foot, proudly presented by Auckland's Shoemaster Generals, Pat Menzies. They've got your dancing shoes sorted and anything else your good feet could wish for. Walk on down to the Canterbury Arcade at 174 Queen Street, get on up to their new store in St. Kevin's Arcade on K Road, or pop online to patmenziesshoes.co.nz. Oh man, I just realised Good Foot, and it's a shoe shop. That's classic. Good job, Sage team.
Oh shit, hey, we are back.
Hey.
Alright,
Sorry
it's getting
about
a bit
that.
silly around here, but we are on
I'm
there,
in a
right?
mood.
Yes.
If everyone could please take a name.
Oh, we're not meant to look, eh?
Don't look. Rachel, you played this game before?
Yeah, get the mic.
Make sure you hand the mic around properly. There you go. Oh, one fell out.
Okay.
Lillian, you're not meant to look. I'm going to give you yours.
I've got mine.
Oh, it fell out. Okay, right.
Okay, sweet. It's
Rachel,
upside
make sure
down.
you use the...
It's sideways.
Am I a man?
Yes. Oh, can we get... Sorry, we've got to get a zoom.
Shut your eyes, Shut your eyes. Leonard, shut your eyes. Shut your eyes.
Can I open my eyes yet?
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
Sweet.
And Leonard, you need to turn around and face that camera that's behind you.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Sweet. Okay.
All right.
Back to us. All right. I reckon Leonard should go first, then we'll just go this way.
He's got a mic.
He's got a mic, yeah.
Am I under the age of 40?
Nah.
Oh, no.
Amanda, do you want to give Amanda the mic?
Am I an MP?
Yes.
Currently.
No, not anymore.
No.
You were.
Don't give too much away.
Pearl.
Am I a woman?
No.
No.
I'm a man. Am I an MP?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leonard's good.
Am I a... I'm just going to have a shot at the dark here.
Yeah, do it.
Am I Phil Goff?
No.
I like that with one question asked.
Yeah, yours going to be hard to beat.
One question asked. He's like, let's give him a little shot of the dark here.
Council. Have I ever been Prime Minister?
Nah.
These are really good questions. Mine are vague. Am I in the National Party?
Nah.
Am I in the National Party?
Nah.
Are we going to shadows after this?
Yes.
No, I'll ask my question. Am I a man?
No.
Oh.
Am I a woman?
No.
Am I a current MP?
No. Hey, we're just getting word. I'm just getting word now that NZ Herald are saying that the Greens want to go form a coalition with a Labour Party and the NZ First Party. I don't know why I said that like that. I meant NZ First. We'll have more about that with Mac very shortly. Back to our game where we don't have to think about the possibility. Rachel.
I've totally lost the thread. Oh, I'm asking a question, eh?
Yeah.
I'm just sad and can't think right now. Am I like a comedy? Like, do I have a comedy role? No. Damn.
Oh, he can.
No, he's not.
No good gags.
Good
Judith
gags to
Collins.
No, close.
Close, yeah.
Or if you can get it from that, try someone else who's kind of like Judith Collins.
Who's kind of like Judith Collins in the current political sphere?
Paula.
Yes!
Got it.
I was going to give you this minty, but it's been in my mouth.
That's right, I don't like minties.
Definitely done with it.
All right, go on, Amanda.
Was I in Labour?
No.
Am I in the Greens?
Nah.
Am I in the Greens?
Nah.
Am I in the Greens?
No.
We get it.
Green obsession.
Am I like cool?
Yes.
I think you're cool.
Okay.
I think you're cool as.
Am I Winston Peters?
Nah.
No.
Am I a dick?
Like, okay, you're good on some things, but not on other things.
Yeah.
You're kind of
Hold
funny.
on, sorry, I'm just getting word from Adam.
Chloe has been accepted as an actual MP now.
Chloe! No one else heard that. That was just Adam saying that Chloe Swarbrick, ex-BFM alumni, is now an MP.
Woohoo!
Love you, Chloe.
Awesome.
Am I Chloe Swarbrick?
Totally unbiased.
No, you're not
here.
Chloe Swarbrick.
Am I? Oh no, I'm a man. Am I Damien Light?
No.
Can I give a clue to the girls?
Yeah, please. I'm so. I don't even know if I'm a man or a woman anymore.
So
Can't
one of you
remember.
girls had a one of you women. One of the pieces of paper on your head. One of those people did a set at Rhythm and Vines a few years back. One of them has.
Oh yeah, they did.
One of them has two of the same letters in their initials, and the other one wears glasses.
Mean. Good clues. I like them. Interesting facts as well.
If I thrown you off, Lillian.
I think you've thrown them off.
I like it. Who did a Rhythm and Vines set,
I'm obviously
Lillian?
the person that wears glasses.
Yes, that unless
Who wears glasses?
little tiny like comedy glasses. You've got like a real.
Do you know what
set
else
look.
you like, Amanda? Do you know what else you like?
Yeah.
Bow ties.
Oh, Peter Dunn.
Yeah. There you go. Come on, Lillian.
Ben's mum made a doco about this person.
Kim.com.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Did I do? Who did the Rhythm and Vine set? Was it me?
Kim.com.
Kim.com.
Oh, Kim.com. So it wasn't me. Okay, because that was really confusing me. So who am I? I've got the weird
I think
initials.
your guy might have done a set at Northern Base, maybe.
No, she didn't.
Under a pseudonym name, maybe. Northern.
Okay, you guys are just gonna have to give me some fat clues right now.
Okay. You've got,
just like,
you've got the same letters for your first and last name.
2 for 1.
honestly,
His
my
first
brain's a
name
little
starts with-
fried
What
right
was
now.
it breathing into the mic?
I was doing his first
weirdo.
name starts with.
Hone Harawira.
Hey.
Did he do a set? Did he do it? What?
I think
No, Northern
is being dry.
I was like, whoa, Hone. That's
he
pretty
didn't.
cool.
Can we get Mac on here for some final numbers?
Yeah,
We're
come
about
on
to
up,
end
Mac.
our broadcast. You asked what happened to the cupcakes.
Can we just get an update on the cupcakes? We had a great thing we were going to do with the cupcakes.
I think the cupcakes are uniced.
Uniced, all right.
So
We'll just eat them all later.
That's all right.
Next 5 minutes away.
Mac is 5 minutes
Okay.
away.
Mikey's here. Okay.
Oh God, what is
I don't know
Mikey
what
doing? Mikey, what are you doing?
Analysing our relative performance for every poll, I had a few different forms of motivation. They came in
Right now,
the
Mikey having breakfast
They
saying Jacinda's speech into a mic. Mikey, what are you doing?
She just arrived to Shapeshifter. Can walk on stage to Shapeshifter with the Labour.
She said that and I'm just like, who says that?
Nothing wrong with it. Me the story of her struggle with mental health. A story that sadly I had repeated in almost every town I went to. There was a man in Kaitaia, the RSA, who wanted us to bring hope and work back for their young people. Or the woman in Palmerston North who just wanted to see us rebuild the homes her city had lost. And it wasn't just people, but whole communities who inspired me, including, for instance, the families of the Pike River men. Victory for us. Victory for us is always about victory for them.
I'm looking. Oh,
Now, I haven't done as well for them as I would have liked. Yes, you have. And as Labour leader, I will take responsibility for that. Bill English and National have taken the largest number of votes. I've called Bill and acknowledged that, and the campaign and work that he's put in. I genuinely believe we share a passion for what we both do. We love you! But the final
That wasn't me.
But the final outcome of tonight's election won't be decided by us.
It is true.
It will be decided by MMP.
Yeah.
And sometimes
MMP's the winner on
MMP
the day.
leaves us with an outcome that requires a little bit of extra work. I simply cannot predict at this point what decisions other leaders will make.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
We're just going to get Mac in for some final numbers. Can Mac please come in?
Mackenzie.
I'm eating a minty, so I can't fluff. Alright, look how slow he's walking. Literally.
Oh, sorry.
Take your mic, come on.
Alright, what's going on?
Well, Jacinda's given a speech right now, so this isn't
Yes,
the
we
best of timing, but because she hasn't really said anything yet other than quoting Colin Meads. But yeah, James Shaw has given what sounds like a victory speech, so you can kind of assume that Jacinda's going to be of the same mindset, which is basically saying there's going to be a change of government because they're going to negotiate with NZ First and make the numbers. So yeah, they're definitely not going to make it on their own, but seems like a pretty confident call on their part. Nationals' Nicky Wagner has conceded Christchurch Central as well. He's held that for the last 2 elections, so that's a bit of an upset. And everything else is pretty much done and dusted, except for Northland, which is still stuck in the 70% range. And you've got Matt King now leading even more. He's up on 850 on Winston Peters. we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, I mean, what are we at? 92% of the vote counted. People are giving their speeches. Sounds
So,
like there's going to be
to
some
round it
deal
up,
making
It looks
happening.
like there might be a Labour New Zealand First Greens deal making
Yeah.
and a
Pretty
National and no
predictable.
one.
Government.
Okay, Greens and New Zealand First together though, that's not predictable, I wouldn't say. Okay,
Well,
cool.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I don't have anything to tell.
That's okay. We better do some thank yous before. Why don't I do the thank yous while you do the thing? That thing that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Getting on up.
Adam, get on stage. Adam wants to do
Get on
it.
stage.
Thank you. This has been BFM's election special. Holy fucking shit. Are you gonna do it?
You gonna
I'm doing it now.
Do it now! Oh my god! Yay! Hey, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in tonight. A big thank you to the news team for all your hard work, to Hugh, Jules, Adam, Lillian, the BFM news team. Thank you to Low Tech Media, PLS Lighting, and the Gear Room for making this stream possible. This has been BFM. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say. Thanks to the commentators.
Good.
To all the
thank
live
you
crosses.
thank you to all of our guests. Very
Thanks
much
to everyone
appreciated.
here. Plenty of people. That's all from us. We're done. I'm going
I'm out.
home.
I'm
going
over
to
it. I'm
sleep.
going to bed.
See you later.
Oh my god. I want to die.